Test, test. Are we good? Are we sounding? How's the sound? Test, test. Are we live? Are we live? Welcome everyone. Wait for a few people to filter in here. We are live. Welcome everyone. Anthony Joshua, Kristian Prenga. Had to do a watch along for it, the return of AJ. Done a few of these now. Some people seem to enjoy them, so we're going to keep the ball rolling. Keep the content coming. Obviously, unfortunately, can't be over in Jeddah this weekend, but next best thing, watch it live with you fine people. So what do we think? Any jeopardy here for Anthony Joshua? Massive favourite with the bookmakers. I saw odds of around 1 to 20 on this one. Probably get even shorter in some places. But Kristian Prenga, as has been said to death this week, very impressive knockout percentage. What level have those knockouts came at? You look at the footage of Kristian Prenga fighting, and maybe that record flatters him slightly, but a lot of question marks over Anthony Joshua, of course. Only fight he's had since the shellacking he took at the hands of Jake Paul really was the shellacking he took at the hands of Daniel Dubois was the Jake Paul fight, not a real fight. What did that Daniel Dubois fight take out of him? Where is he mentally after what he's been through this year over the past 7 months? We don't need to go into that, but definitely a favourable matchup for him. So what do I think? I think Anthony Joshua should win the fight. He should win the fight by stoppage, but I don't think it's maybe as foregone a conclusion as some people seem to think. I mean, Jake Paul did land a couple of punches on Anthony Joshua. Like, obviously AJ wouldn't have had the fear factor going into that one. But if Kristian Prenga lands on him, Anthony Joshua's never had the sturdiest chin. Where's his punch resistance going to be at after the fight with Daniel Dubois? Where is he going to be mentally? We saw how AJ approaches fights in the short term after being knocked out. You know, he's very cautious after the Andy Ruiz fight. I don't know. Hopefully not, of course. We all want to see the fight with Tyson Fury later this year, and, you know, defeat to Prenga would surely spell the end for that. I mean, they can dress it up how they want. The allure of that fight's not what it was. I'm sure if any of the hardcores in here have had conversations with more casual boxing fans, certainly in my experience, they're not as excited for it as they would have been 4 or 5 years ago. But, you know, if AJ was to lose here, that's got to be it done. But let me know what you think in the comments, in the chat. Does anyone think Kristian Prenga could spring the upset? Or are we all expecting a routine night's work for AJ? I mean, you'd like to think Kristian Prenga will come with a bit more ambition than we saw from Marius Vac last night, or certainly in the clips that were doing the rounds, because that was a glorified sparring session. But Kristian Prenga, much younger than Marius Vac, got a much better record than Marius Vac, and Marius Vac's, you know, been knocking on the door of being done with boxing for a long time, whereas Kristian Prenga can, of course, change his life with a win over Anthony Joshua tonight. Let me know what we think. Anyone in the chat giving Kristian Prenga a chance, or if you are backing AJ, how long does it go? I don't see it being a 1 or 2 round blowout. Personally, I think Anthony Joshua will be cautious, certainly for a round or two. I think he'll look to, you know, maybe put Kristian Prenga in his box and then potentially take him out somewhere around 4 or 5 rounds. If I had to make a prediction, that's where I would be going. That's what my money would be on. But I don't know. I don't think it's as foregone a conclusion as maybe is being made out in some quarters, although I do expect Anthony Joshua to come through. What do we think? Let me know. Keen to get everyone's thoughts on it. So we got Kevin Ajarko challenging Josh Kelly for the IBF Super Welterweight World title, just about to get going. Josh Kelly, a clear favourite in this one, although it is probably on paper the most competitive fight on the card. It's one that you would think, looking at both these guys, their records, how they approach things, that you would imagine is going to go the distance. Yeah, I think the bookies have got this run white. I think Josh Kelly's a pretty big favourite here. Ajarko, very good fighter, but a very good domestic level fighter in my opinion, and Josh Kelly really came of age in that background Murtazalia fight, brimming with confidence this week. There's that old adage of how much becoming world champion changes a fighter's mentality, and with Josh Kelly we saw, you know, the hiccups he's had in his career, and He's maybe been a bit of a confidence fighter, and to me this week he's looked like he's been brimming with it. So fancy him to get the job done. What do we think? Let's talk about this fight. Talk about Hamza Shiraz, who's in what looks to be a routine first defense of his WBO super middleweight world title against Simon Zackenhuber. Don't expect any hiccups at all in Hamza Shiraz for that one, I have to say. I actually think it would be a bigger upset if Zackenhuber was to beat Shiraz, more so than AJ losing out to Prenga. Let's get some life in the chat, folks. Any predictions? Anyone going for any upsets in these three fights? We got Kevin Jarko, Josh Kelly about to start, both men in the ring now. We got Hamza Shiraz against Simon Zackenhuber. And we got, of course, the main event, the return of Anthony Joshua against unknown quantity, Kristian Prenga. But Josh Kelly, Kevin Jarko just about to get going. The more perceptive of you will notice I've got a similar accent to Kevin Jarko from the same part of the world in Northern Ireland, but we leave our biases, we leave our national allegiances very much at the door on the Boxing News watch-alongs. Don't worry about that. Yeah, Kevin Jarko biting on a couple of early Josh Kelly feints here. Anyone here predicting any trouble at all for Anthony Joshua tonight? I don't see it myself, personally, but again, you know, it feels like so many times in boxing, it's the fight before the fight that goes wrong. Heavyweight boxing, boxing in general, is littered with examples of that. Sharp 1-2 from Kelly, just slipped by a Jarko. You would think for a Jarko to win here, he's got to make it rough. He's got to get in the inside, try and employ some of the tactics David Avanesian used to stop Josh Kelly down at welterweight. But Josh Kelly looking a much more robust, much physically stronger fighter up at 154. I think he's more cautious of his gas tank. I think he's improved his stamina too under Adam Booth. But there have been a couple of red flags in a couple of his fights recently. You look at the Ishmael Davis fight, who had that fight on very short notice, came on very strong, had Josh Kelly in trouble towards the end of that fight on only 10 days notice. Jarko's had a full camp for this, but that's not really how he tends to do things. He's a boxer as well, but you know, you got to fight the fight in front of you, and you'd like to think that Stephen Smith in his corner, they've realised they can't beat Josh Kelly in a pure boxing match. Maybe I'm doing him a disservice there. Let me know what you think. But yeah, very much a boxing match to start here, but opening round, things can always progress and change and heat up from there, but I think they would need to for Kevin and Jarko to have success here. Yeah, very, very cagey opener here. Where are we all at excitement-wise for AJ Fury, provided, of course, AJ comes through here? I think it's one that really will take off during fight week. You'd imagine the press conferences will be quite lively. They've had a lot to say about each other over the years, particularly on the side of Tyson Fury. So yeah, you think we'll get a few viral moments from the presser, and maybe then it'll translate over to the wider sporting public, certainly in the UK, and get some of that luster and that buzz that it had 4 or 5 years ago. Be interesting to see if Fury turns up tonight. You feel like we need a face-off in the ring, surely, right? Gary B, first man in the chat, welcome my friend. Has anyone seen much of Prenga? No idea if he is any good or not. I've watched some of the limited footage that's available of Kristian Prenga on YouTube. He's no world beater, Gary, definitely not. A lot of his stoppages were against low-level opposition. All his stoppages were against low-level opposition, truth be told. He's lost to a fighter I think had a losing record. The most recognisable win on his resume is journeyman Joey Dueco, who, there are rumours, Joey Dueco put AJ over in sparring. That's one that has done the rounds in the boxing circuit, but it's definitely not a who's who. He is sort of what it says in the tin. He's big, he can punch, not particularly quick, doesn't look the hardest to hit, doesn't really move his head. He would be banking on us seeing a shell of Anthony Joshua in there tonight if he was going to have any success, but we don't know where AJ is. One thing's for sure, I think Kristian Prenga of tonight is a much better fighter and a much stiffer test and a much more dangerous assignment than Tyson Fury had last night against 46-year-old Marius Vac. That is one thing that I think we can say for sure. We'll know in a few hours just how good Prenga is. I think he's a maybe fringe top 50 heavyweight, top 40 heavyweight, but with the question marks over Anthony Joshua, yeah, I don't think it's a complete foregone conclusion, although I do expect AJ to get the win. What do we all make of Fury versus Vac? Obviously, very limited in terms of the footage that was doing the rounds. It was just the odd clip here and there. But Marius Vac landed a couple of right hands, and there was one that I saw. I think it was Boxing Scene posted it. They had a good angle, and Marius Vac landed a right hand, and it looked to get the attention of Fury. Sort of went on the back foot, slipped and slide. His eyes sort of widened as the punch landed, and if Marius Vac is even slightly buzzing you, where are you at in your career? The same, of course, could be said for Anthony Joshua. Battle of the jabs here through 1.5 rounds of Josh Kelly, Kevin and Jargo. Oh, heating up a bit there. Josh Kelly gets through with a good left hook. You also wonder how Kristian Prenga will cope with the nerves tonight. By far the biggest stage he's ever boxed on. I don't know how many people will be there in attendance, but when you're standing across the ring from Anthony Joshua, when you've only boxed sort of obscure heavyweights who have little to no profile, he'll be well aware that millions and millions of people are watching this. I think that'll be a big factor here too. Kristian Prenga can't afford to freeze. You've got to imagine that his route to victory in this fight is get close to Anthony Joshua early, make it a 3-4 round fight. Don't allow him to settle. Try and capitalise on any nerves and mental fragility there is. Make him feel your power. Make him maybe try and flare up some of those old demons from fights gone by, the Ruiz fight, the Dubois fight, and see if you can catch AJ cold, essentially. You'd imagine that would be Prenga's best route to victory. Ghost asked, when does it start? So the main cards started now. We've got Josh Kelly versus Kevin Jarko. I would say AJ will be on 11:15, half 11. It was advertised as an 11 o'clock start. I think that's optimistic. This broadcast hasn't moved at a particularly fast pace, which has been a bugbear of mine and a bugbear of boxing fans for a long, long time, but something we're going to have to get used to. Unless you're a Zuffa boxing fan, that's one thing that they have got right. The pacing of those shows is very, very good, but not something DAZN have incorporated tonight. So I think we could be in for a slightly late one. 11, half 11, I'll say, somewhere around there. Yeah, 2-0 to Josh Kelly from what I see here. Obviously, I've been in and out chatting to you guys, but Jarko struggling with the speed, struggling with the movement, as many predicted we would. Josh Kelly, a tough man in the early rounds when he's fresh and when that speed's at its sort of optimum levels, but Jarko will be hoping Kelly fades in the second half. He'll be hoping to make it more physical, but so far, yeah, comfortable enough work for Josh Kelly through 2 rounds. How long do we see AJ Prenga going? As I say, I think 4 or 5 rounds. I think AJ will feel him out a bit early. I don't think he'll be a bull in the china shop unless Prenga presents his chin on a plate, which, given the level Prenga's boxed at, is not beyond the realms of possibility. Definitely not, but I think it'll be a slower breakdown, given, it's been a long time since we saw AJ in a meaningful fight, truth be told, so you can forgive him being a bit cautious in the opening stanzas. Can Jarko do anything in this third round to get Kelly out of his rhythm? You'd imagine that's key if he's going to, pry that title away. Gets a bit the joy on the inside there, mostly blocked from Kelly, but one sort of got through to the top of the head on the way out from Jarko. Is there a bit of marking under the eye of Jarko there, or is that just a shadow? That's concerning if it's that early. Sort of dabs at the eye too. Yeah, Jarko looking for that leaping left hooks through it a couple of times, but you're not going to catch Kelly with a left hook from out of range. No chance. Good body shot from Jarko there. You imagine body work will be a big part of the game plan. Try and slow those feet to Kelly down. Not the biggest puncher, either of them, really. Yeah, Jarko defensively responsible as well. Kelly's not got through with anything massively clean or telling. It's just A bit busier with the jab, made Jarko miss a bit more than Jarko's managed to do to him. But yeah, Kelly will be happy enough with the fight at this range, you'd have thought. Is the audio okay, folks? Is it a bit quiet? Let me just turn that up a wee bit. Sorry, folks. Apparently having some audio trouble here. Let me see if I can get this resolved. Test, 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 test. How's that audio? Quiet? Can everyone hear me all right? Just playing around some technical difficulties here. Test, 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 test. Sorry, folks. Just give me 2 seconds here. Hopefully that's a bit better for you folks, apparently a bit on the quiet side. Good body shot there from Jarko, needs more of that if he's going to get to Kelly in the second half of the fight, you would have thought. Anyone here predicting any trouble for AJ tonight? Not had any predictions, and get the predictions in. Maybe we'll do a giveaway if anyone gets the round right. But yeah, I can't imagine it goes into the second half, sort of regardless of the outcome. You'd imagine Prenga's best chance is early. AJ, if he lands clean early, you'd imagine that'll be the fight over. Kristian Prenga will never have been hit with anyone with the power of an Anthony Joshua for sure, so it could be a shock to the system for Prenga early as well. There, Hamza Shiraz on the screen now, who I don't envisage having any trouble with Simon Zackenhuber, really. So yeah, 3 rounds to nothing here for Josh Kelly. That's the start he'll have been hoping for, the start many people would have expected. Need a bit more from Kevin Jarko. I don't think he's going to have too much joy in a long-range boxing match with Josh Kelly. He has tried to go to the body a couple of times, ripped some combinations when he's got on the inside, but nothing really telling as of yet. Gary says, don't think AJ will play with his food. Potentially not. You'd imagine he'll be wanting to get in and out of there as quickly as possible, but you know, there will be a lot of doubt, uncertainty there, more down to the Daniel Dubois fight than anything. I don't know, Gary. I think it depends how you define, you know, play with his food. I think once he lands clean on Prenga and he hurts him, he'll go for the finish, you would think, but I think it might be a matter of getting behind the jab for a round or two, and then as he softens Prenga up, maybe realises he's not on his level, then he could look for the finish. So I'll say somewhere around 4 or 5 rounds. I don't think that constitutes playing with your food, to be fair. Well, a bit more action here. Rendell Surge asks, when does it start? Joshua versus AJ? I reckon somewhere around 11:15, mate, if I had to guess. We hope a bit earlier, but yeah, I think it could be a late one. They've dragged this broadcast out a bit so far, truth be told. Yeah, not a great deal landing clean between Josh Kelly and Kevin Jarko here. Jarko struggling with the jab, the speed of Kelly. Difficult puzzle to solve, any Josh Kelly. Saturday Kingsley says AJ winning by KO. I mean, you would think so, you would hope so, and I agree with you, that's ultimately what I think would happen, but yeah, Kristian Prenga, big man, heavy-handed, impressive knockout percentage. I think it'll maybe go slightly longer than some people think, but Kingsley, I agree with you. I think the end result will be Anthony Joshua inside the distance and inside the first half of the fight as well, truth be told. We got Josh Kelly, Kevin and Jarko to get through first. Not a barn burner, through 4. Very technical, as I think was always going to be. Bit more success for Jarko there, gets a body shot through, but Kelly untroubled by it. Yeah, a lot of falling in from Jarko here. No good right hand from Kelly. Oh, good body shot from Kelly. Jarko fires back, heating up a bit here. Spencer Brown on his phone, he's not bothered by this fight. So what do we all think about the rumour that AJ versus Fury is pretty much done for Madison Square Garden, New York? A real dagger in the heart to British boxing fans. If that is the case, looking more likely by the day that that's where the fight's going to land. They talked about it being at 4 AM at Wembley Stadium. That's just not feasible. I almost think that was sort of softening us up before the inevitable news that the fight was going stateside. Yeah, a real kick in the teeth for British fight fans if this doesn't take place in the UK. We've waited a long, long time for it. You know, I mean, people say 10 years, realistically 5-6 years. The can's been kicked down the road to the point where the fight's not what it was. Both men are very much towards the end. It probably isn't going to be as good a fight as a result. It's certainly a fight that doesn't mean as much. At least let us have it in the UK, but that does not look to be the case. The fight does look to be going over to America, over to Madison Square Garden, where of course it all went disastrously wrong for AJ against Andy Ruiz. What do we think of that? I mean, if you're a Brit, I think I know your opinion. If you're an American, let me know how big a fight you think Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury is in the States. I mean, it's a big fight here. Is it a big fight in America? I speak to a few people involved in boxing from stateside, and they're not so sure, but I'd be keen to get the fans' perspective. But yeah, just really, really poor, I think, if this fight doesn't take place in the UK, but looking less and less likely, it has to be said. Oh, Kelly letting his hands go here. Jarko could be in a bit of trouble. Oh, good uppercut from Kelly. Jarko doesn't look too badly hurt, but he is in a bit of bother, having to bob and weave. Yeah, Jarko got his legs, but a nice wee flurry there from Kelly. Certainly the most impactful and meaningful punches of the fight so far. Good body shot from Kelly. Going through the gears a bit here. Gary says, Bell, you hit the nail on the head about it. No one's bothered over there. That's what I think, Gary. I mean, how big is that fight in America? Boxing, as Tony said, in America is in a bit of a lull. There's not many broadcasters involved. They don't really have an American face of boxing. I don't think it's a big fight over there. I think the whole reason for it is they think Netflix being that they will drum up more subscribers for Netflix having it there, but I don't know. I don't think anyone's bothered. Americans have never really rated AJ as a top heavyweight, perhaps unfairly. In fact, I do think unfairly. Fury was a big star in America around the time of the Wilder fights. I feel like those days have been and gone. He's not what he was. And yeah, I don't think it's a particularly big fight in America either. I think you're right. I think, Tony Bell, you got that one right. Oh, cut under the eye of Josh Kelly here. Kingsley says, big fight for AJ and an emotional moment for AJ fighting for 3. Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, we don't need to go into too much about the horrible car crash, but yeah, I can't imagine what AJ went through around that time. Lats and Sinner were integral parts of his camp. There's a tribute to them on the ring side as well, I believe, and I'm sure they will be on his mind as he's walking through the ring. Extra motivation, perhaps, but yeah, I mean, you'd be happy for AJ to look good and deliver a performance for them as well, no doubt. Yeah, heating up a bit here. Kelly and Jarko. I think Kelly's getting the better of it, but turning into a bit more of a fight, which Kevin and Jarko shouldn't be too displeased about. Spurs says Prenga is awful, should not go past 2 rounds. I mean, he's certainly nowhere near the level of a prime Anthony Joshua. Spurs, that's for sure. But the whole question mark over how much success Kristian Prenga will have in this fight just comes down to what version of Anthony Joshua's in there. Where is he physically, in terms of the punch resistance? Has that fight with Daniel Dubois left any sort of mental scars in the way that the fight with Andy Ruiz did? But yeah, I mean, the best version of Anthony Joshua would obliterate Kristian Prenga, and I agree with you, inside 2 rounds. But will we see that? Yeah, naughty wee elbow there from Josh Kelly. That was pretty blatant. Not like him, not known as a dirty fighter. Would Prenga beat Vac? Are we all in agreement that Prenga would beat the version of Marius Vac that we saw against Tyson Fury last night? I mean, I think so. Vac was... Yeah, I don't want to be too disrespectful. He's been a good servant to the heavyweight division, but looked every one of his 46 years. Let's just say that. Landed a couple of right hands, though. Jarko trying to walk Kelly down here. A lot of head clashing, a lot of shoulder into head. Jarko trying to close the distance quickly, and yeah, it's a bit messy at times here. Usyk watching on from ringside. I wonder what he's been saying to AJ about Tyson Fury. He mentioned the mental side of things, how he used something from Tyson Fury's autobiography against him in the build up to their fights, and Usyk's been, of course, a master of the mind games as well as the in-ring craft, and Tyson Fury, the mind games are a big part of it, as we all know, so definitely an added wrinkle to the AJ camp if he gets there, but has to get through Kristian Prenga. Hyson asks, what time in Europe? I'm guessing you're asking what time the fight starts, so most of Europe, I think, is an hour ahead of the UK. I'm not sure where you are, whereabouts in Europe are you, but if you're in Europe and it's an hour ahead, I think you're looking at around midnight, 1:15 midnight, Tyson, for that fight. If you're asking what time it is now in Europe, it's 4 minutes past 9, where I am anyway, in the UK. Jarko giving Kelly a bit too much respect here, I think. Monaco. Lovely, Monaco. So yeah, if you're an hour ahead, which I think, is Monaco an hour ahead? You'll be looking around midnight, Hyson, for the main event tonight. Oh yeah. When will they fight? If you're referring to AJ and Prenga, I think you're looking at about 2 and a bit hours. If you're talking about AJ and Fury, well, the rumoured date is November 14th, but one last hurdle to get through tonight for Anthony Joshua for that. Oh, even Jarko had a bit more success here. Josh Kelly doesn't want to trade up. You'd imagine that's where it all went wrong against David Avanesian for him. What's the excitement like in Europe, Hyson, for Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury? I know boxing isn't necessarily the biggest sport in France, but your friends, sports fans in general, are they invested in this fight? That goes to everyone in the chat. Where you are in the world, is there excitement for Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, or has the moment been missed slightly? Bit more success for Jarko in that round, maybe creeping into it here. 2 hours or so to go to AJ Prenga. God, can you imagine if Prenga spoiled the biggest party of all, stopped Anthony Joshua tonight? AJ Fury completely done. That would be, I mean, it would be cruel irony. Some would see it as karma for how long we've had to wait for the fight, for them agreeing reportedly to do the fight in America. But, you know, we need to see the fight, man, for all the negativity around it, for where they are in their careers compared to where they were when they could have made the fight. It would still be devastating if it was all to come crashing down tonight. Can you imagine? Imagine Eddie Hearn's face if it was to go wrong tonight. Are you going to show footage of the fight? Asked Freddie. No, we would be sued quite heavily by DAZN if we did that. Freddie, so no footage here, unfortunately. I mean, we're not getting paid by DAZN to promote it, so I'm not going to be dropping any links, but it shouldn't be too hard to find. We can't show footage of the fight, Kingsley. We would have our channel struck, demonetized, so there'll be no fight footage here, unfortunately. If you don't fancy paying for it, you're going to have to seek out alternate means. There's my watch-along, there's commentary, there's plenty of other ways you can consume this fight, but unfortunately we won't be showing any footage. Maybe you could see it in like the reflection of my pupils. If I hold the phone up, you can see that reflection, can you? Does that work? Sorry guys, no footage here tonight. What about some fight footage? I'm getting trolled. I'm getting trolled. Does no one want to pay the pay-per-view fee for this fight? Come on, AJ Prenga. Do you not think it's pay-per-view worthy? Kelly looking a bit more uncomfortable here as Ajarko lands a couple of body shots. Oh, good left hook from Ajarko. You know, just with a cut under Kelly's eye. Is this starting to look a bit like the David Avanesian one? Did I pay? I am a card-carrying member of the DAZN Ultimate Package, Gary. So I get this as part of my subscription. Does that make me a mug? You tell me. But I mean, when it's your job, you sort of have to keep on top of the boxing. Here's Kristian Prenga arriving at the arena. Yeah, as I said earlier, Prenga's route to success here, you've got to imagine, treat it as a 4-round fight. Don't give AJ time to settle, make him uncomfortable early, try and get some of those demons of the past to rear their head and maybe capitalise on any fragilities in that chin. He can't hope to outbox Anthony Joshua. He's never went that deep into a fight, certainly not at the level Anthony Joshua has over the years, so you'd imagine early is the way for the Albanian. Round 8 now, Josh Kelly, Kevin Ajarko, where things are getting a bit competitive. Ajarko's probably picked up a round or two, Kelly ahead you would say, but Ajarko creeping into the fight, Kelly cut under the eye. Oh, a couple more good body shots from Ajarko. Look, they have plenty of meat on them too. Kelly going off the boil. I can see that. I can see that, Gary. Definitely not having things all his own way here. He's showing he can fade in fights. Not just the Avanesian one. Look at the Ismail Davis one. could get interesting here, definitely. This should be some win for Kevin Ajarko. Was in no man's land for a long time with his career. Parted ways with Matchroom. This would be a real career changer for him if he could pull this off. Couple of deep breaths from Kelly as well. He did find a good second win against Murtazaliev. Might need to here too. Yeah, it is very messy in stages though, isn't it? Like, I mean, they're saying it's been entertaining. It's not been an overly entertaining fight, really. Good wee flurry from Josh Kelly there. Needed it. Both get through with left hooks. Josh Kelly probably getting the better of it. Yeah, Ajarko really trying to utilise that two-piece combo to the body. Left hook to the body has got through a few times. Kelly seems to be wearing it well, but could he just be showing a poker face? Oh, good combo from Ajarko there. Two to the body, one upstairs. This is an Ajarko round. Could the tide be turning here? You feel like Ajarko maybe needs to be slightly busier. That's the only thing here. He has got through with a few good flurries, but does he need to sustain it a bit more if he's going to make Kelly unravel the way we saw against Avanesian? Of course, it's not beyond the realms of possibility to win the fight in points from here. He's probably won 3 rounds, 3-8, so it's savable. Josh Kelly says, my round, my round. I don't think it was your round. I think that was a Kevin Ajarko round. Is Josh Kelly trying to convince himself that this is maybe going a bit better for him than it actually is? So I don't think that was a Josh Kelly round. I mean, you don't often see that, a fighter going into the corner and saying, my round, my round. I mean, at best for Josh Kelly, it was a swing round, but I thought that was a pretty clear Kevin Ajarko round, and this fight's closening up. Though Wars official asks when does the fight start, probably around 11:15 we'll have AJ Prenga kicking off Though Wars. So you got a couple hours to go. Could be wrong, maybe they'll get it going earlier, but I'd say we've 2 hours to go. Ajarko straight back to the body to start the 9th. Good jab from Kelly. And another misses with the 3rd. You think Ajarko maybe needs to quicken the feet up here, try and sustain an attack. Ajarko's head and body again. Kelly got some with the right hand on the way out. They trade jabs. Kelly just waiting, measuring him, falls short with the 1-2. Carl Frampton has it all level. I think that's slightly generous to Ajarko. I have it 5-3 to Josh Kelly. But definitely a close fight. Definitely in the balance. I would say the body language from Ajarko looks slightly better. Not that Kelly's all at sea by any means, but just didn't really like what I saw and I heard between rounds there. Ajarko straight back to that 2-piece to the body. Doesn't really get through that cleanly that time, but clearly something him and Stephen Smith have been drilling. Oh, good right hand from Ajarko. Kelly untroubled by it. Oh, good left hook from Ajarko. Good round for Ajarko again. He's winning this round again to my eye. 1:20 left in it. Oh, what happened there? Low blow, was it? Ajarko gesticulates to the referee. That didn't look too low at first viewing. Let's see a replay. I could be wrong. Didn't like it anyway, Ajarko, wherever it landed. Let's see. It was low. It wasn't the lowest of low blows I've ever seen, but it was certainly below the waistline. Ajarko gets through with a left hook. Kelly catches him as well, though they trade left hooks. Close round. I have Ajarko just nicking it at this stage. Kelly gets behind the jab. Oh, good right hand from Kelly. Oh, trades up. Ajarko gets through with an uppercut. Kelly dabs at the nose. Damage to the nose of Josh Kelly. Oh, this is close. This is a close round and a close fight. Oh, I really don't know who I give that round to. Oh, good right hand from Ajarko. Kelly trying to put a stamp. He's not liking what's ever happened to his nose here, Josh Kelly. I think Ajarko just nicked that round. Very close. Wouldn't argue if you scored that to Josh Kelly. Jake Bellinger asked, what round is it, fellas, and who's up? So we are going in to round 10, and I have the fight 5-4 to Josh Kelly. Kelly's face is marking up. Cut under both eyes, is he? Damage to the nose. Josh Kelly marking up. Oh, hello. I was waiting when we'd see you. Get out. We don't need you in here. You're gone. We don't need the spam here. Those links, if you're looking somewhere to watch the fight, do not work. I'm not just saying that. They don't work. You will not be able to watch the fight from those links. I promise you. Yeah, Kelly really badly marked up. Ajarko will be brimming with confidence seeing that. So I have it 5-4. You could make the case for 6-3. Could see 5-4 Ajarko potentially, but though I feel that would be on the generous side. But definitely all to play for here. Ajarko jab lands right on that nose and cuts it up. That nose could become a mess if Ajarko can keep landing jabs on it. Kelly puts his foot on the accelerator here. Nothing really getting through clean. Oh. You're getting gone as well, mate. Good right hand. Ajarko making a real good fist of this. Oh, Kelly gets through from an uppercut, then a left hook to the body. Better from Josh Kelly here. Electing to fight on the inside with Ajarko and having some success. Oh, good body shot from Kelly. Having a great round here. Good uppercut from Josh Kelly. Ajarko felt that. Kelly digging deep here. Needed to find an answer because the tide was, for me, turning towards Kevin Ajarko. Josh Kelly hands up, looking to walk Kevin Ajarko down, pushing back. Having a lot more success here, Josh Kelly. Doesn't look to be a huge deal of power on any of these shots, but definitely winning in this round. After a good spell for Kevin Ajarko in the 2 or 3 rounds before. Oh, good shot from Kelly. Oh, gets caught with the right hand though. Doesn't want to get greedy in the inside. Doesn't want to get careless. Ajarko's not a one-punch KO artist, but he's got snap and speed in his shots. And you know, Josh Kelly's shown he can be hurt. He can be caught. Kelly with a wee pocket of success there, but Josh Kelly finds an answer, gets off with a 2-piece of his own. Jarko tries to get into range behind the double jab, but Kelly just scoots away. He knows he's done enough to nick this round. But this is a Josh Kelly round for me for sure, which would make it 6-4 on my card. Oh, good left hook from Jarko though, as I say that. Perhaps curse of the commentator. Good right hand from Jarko. Good end of the round for Kevin Jarko, but for me still a Josh Kelly round, which makes it 6-4 on my card. I mean, I could potentially see 5-all. Maybe 6-4 Jarko, though that feels like it would be slightly on the generous side. Close fight, good fight. Definitely become more entertaining in the second half. First 3 or 4 rounds were a tough watch. Not gonna lie to you, tough watch. Messy. Fought at range. Not much landing clean. Kelly was able just to nick the majority of the opening rounds, but yeah, it turned into quite an entertaining fight as we head into the championship rounds. But for me, Jarko needs a knockdown at least to win. If he wins the 2 rounds, he'll force a draw on my cards, but obviously that won't be enough to take away the belt. 55 in the chat. Can we get a like in the stream if you're enjoying, guys? Really helps out, push up the algorithm. Really appreciate it. Oh. Trading up. Kelly with a fast start in the 11th, but Jarko matches him. Murdator asks, can we watch live please with you? Unfortunately not, Murdator, as YouTube will not like me broadcasting the fight. I don't think DAZN would like it either, and we would be heavily punished for that. So unfortunately, I cannot show you the fight. Oh, good right hand from Kelly. Doesn't trouble Jarko, but very clean, eye-catching. Oh, big uppercut. I think Jarko felt that. Hans Tournament, good evening. How are we? Good to see you again, mate. This is someone we've had in the lives before. Are you doing the Spence fight? You've got a grand on Spence to win by KO, TKO, or DQ at 2-1. I'm gonna watch it. I mean, don't know if I've got a watch along in me. I mean, you'd be looking at 9 hours live, but I'm gonna try and stay up and watch it. I don't know about that fight. It's so hard to call. Like, where is Elmer Spence after 3 years out of the ring? The beating at the hands of Terence Crawford, the car accident, the lifestyle. But then on the flip side, what's Tim Tszyu got left? You know, stopped in brutal fashion by Murtazaliev. Quit really in the rematch with Fandora. Really, really tough fight. The first fight with Fandora that he lost to. That's where it all started to go wrong. So it's a tough one to bet on for me. But you know, if you've got 3 grand, you're standing at winning. Then I hope for your sake that Spence can roll back the years and get him stopped. I think it's better for boxing. If Spence looks good, gets a good win, puts himself in the mix for some big fights, be it at 154 or 160. But I'll definitely be watching, but I don't know if I've got another watch along in me, mate. I need a break. Kelly having a good 11th here. Maybe taking the fight away from Kevin Jarko, who has put up a good effort, who's done better than a lot of people expected, but for me, he'll need to find something big in the last round. Josh Kelly's face is a mess. Gary B asks, thoughts on Rick Reno's gold blouse? Is he wearing a gold blouse? I've actually not clocked Versace ringside. He's not a man who's scared of an outlandish fashion choice. I mean, less said the better. Oh, there it is, God. I mean, that is gold. Look at that nose. Look at Josh Kelly's nose. It's got to be broke. Surely if you're Adam Booth, you're just telling Josh Kelly, just stay on your feet here. I mean, I've got him up in the fight. I've got him up 7-4 now. So for me, if he stays on the feet, he wins the fight. He's had to dig deep here because, you know, around 8-9 rounds, it maybe looked like Adyarko was starting to turn things his way. But to be fair to Kelly, he changed tactics. He got on the front foot. And, yeah, for me, he's taking the fight away from Kevin Adyarko here. If Adyarko fails to, you know, force a knockdown or a knockout, really, I think he would need. Kelly cut above the eye. Kelly be out for a while after this. You're not going to go straight into a fight with Spence, that's for sure. Spence. Boots. Oh, they trade left hooks to start. Let's see. Just in the last round, that's where you rear your head, isn't it? Hans says he thinks Spence is easy money. I mean, at their best, the best Errol Spence shows up, then yes, you would say he's a level, at least, above Tim Tszyu. But for me, just too many question marks to put some money down on it. Can Adyarko do anything here to rip the title away from Josh Kelly with 2 minutes left in the last round? Adyarko bangs away to the body on the inside, but going to need a lot more than that. Oh, Kelly did have a point off, that's right, forgot about that. That could make things a bit more interesting in the card. Oh, they trade right hands. Adyarko got the better of it, but didn't trouble Kelly. Adyarko needs to do what he was doing around 8-9 rounds. Start with the body, then bring them up. That was working a treat for him. Good jab from Adyarko, falls short with the right hand. Just falls in, allows Kelly to tie up, which he will not mind one bit as we go into the last minute here. Good uppercut from Kelly. Adyarko gets through with the right hand. Adyarko not happy with the referee here. Last 45 seconds. Oh, they trade left hooks. Adyarko beckons Kelly in, but he ain't going to fall for that. Or is he? Kelly looks to tie up and hold on again. Definitely feeling the pace here, Josh Kelly. How could you not be? Adyarko definitely the better of this round so far to my eye. Again, Kelly just ducks under that right hand of Adyarko. They trade rabbit punches on the inside. Whoa! Adyarko catches Kelly clean on the break. Oh, good right hand from Adyarko. I mean, he's won this round, but he needs to put the foot on the gas. Yeah, sort of respect at the end. Josh Kelly's face. Like a butcher's block. Adyarko celebrates, as does Josh Kelly. For me, Josh Kelly, I did forget about the point off, but I think he's still done enough to nick this. But for me, it's and still my national compatriot Kevin Adyarko just falling short tonight. Well, maybe kicking himself. He didn't put the foot to the pedal a bit earlier in the fight. New champion Hans says, do you think so? I thought Kelly nicked it. Bear in mind, I was in and out with the live. I was engaging with you fine people, so I've not been paying as attentively as you would hope a ringside judge is. But let's see. Be a big turn up for Adyarko. What a win this would be if Adyarko could do it. Another new Irish world champion. Yeah, we'd have two from the same gym. We'd have the same amateur gym anyway, Kakachi and Ajarko. You thought he won hands? It was a close fight, definitely. Not a lot happened in early rounds. There could be a lot of swing rounds in there. Let's see. I wouldn't go as far to say a robbery, personally. Hands. I thought it was a close fight. There weren't too many rounds that I can remember that either man won very clearly. But let's see. Ajarko just pipping Kelly in terms of jabs landed. Kelly landing a slightly more in terms of power. Landing 10 more punches overall. Kelly throwing a lot more though, so Ajarko landing with a higher degree of accuracy. Yeah, 7-5 with the point. Okay. Okay. Let's see. The commentary team seems to think Kelly's done enough, but depends how much weight you want to put on that. 7-5 without the point. Yeah, I forgot about the point. By it. 7-5 Kelly with the point, so wins by a point for me. $114, $113. 2 of $115, $12. That'll be Kelly. Let's see. Kelly nicks it, yeah. I've no issue with those cards, personally. I had it the same as the first judge, 7-5 with the point off. So that 8-4 the other one would be. I can see that. I can see that. I think Ajarko maybe just didn't do enough in the early stages. Labby VP asks what time start. Main event I'd say about 11:15. Charlotte asks any streams. Not here, Charlotte. You have to go on the hunt yourself for them. Can't help you out there. So Josh Kelly, you'd think, walk into a big fight at 154. He's got the belt. He's got that currency. But was that a performance tonight to strike fear into the hearts of Jerron Ennis and Sebastian Fundora? No, not really. Kevin Yarko's a good fighter, but we saw him pushed close by Ishmael Davis, Ryan Kelly, domestic level fighters. And yeah, I don't think Boots, Fundora, Virgil Ortiz will be too worried about anything they saw tonight from Josh Kelly. So Hamza Shiraz next. I don't think we're going to see as competitive as a fight there. Not even close. Hans asks, what are my thoughts on the AJ fight? Look, I think Anthony Joshua should win the fight via stoppage in the first half. I don't think it's as foregone a conclusion as has been made out this week. I don't think it's as comfortable a night's work as Tyson Fury had last night. Just because of, we have no idea where Anthony Joshua is in his career. I mean, physically more than anything. He's not had a proper fight since he was dropped 5 times and stopped by Daniel Dubois. He's never had the strongest punch resistance. We saw the effect the Andy Ruiz fight had on him mentally. What's the effect of the Dubois fight going to be? We wouldn't have seen that in the Jake Paul fight. And I think if Kristian Prenga lands, he could be in trouble. And Jake Paul was able to land, albeit very sporadically, and it didn't have an effect on AJ, but Kristian Prenga is a lot bigger, and I'll pay them the credit of saying that he's a lot better than Jake Paul, I would hope. So I don't think it's a fight that has no jeopardy for AJ. That said, Prenga has been boxing at a very, very low level. His best win is a career journeyman in Joey Dweko. Joey Dweko who's probably past his best. That said, you look at his fights, his stoppages, it's not the eye test. He doesn't look brilliant, but just because of where Anthony Joshua is, I don't think it's a complete foregone conclusion. That said, I expect him to win. I think he'll maybe patient for a couple of rounds, and yeah, somewhere around 4 or 5 rounds, I think Anthony Joshua will get the stoppage. Gary says, thought the cards were pretty much spot on. I agree with you, Gary. I had it the same as the first judge. 114, 113, which should be 7 rounds to 5 with the point off for Kelly. I think the other cards were fine too, 8-4. Yeah, couldn't see any better than that for Jarko, and couldn't really see any better than that for Kelly. I think in the round those two is pretty much spot on. I agree with you. I don't speak Russian or Ukrainian, so I'm not going to insult you by attempting to pronounce your name, but the fight will not be broadcast here. You're going to have to sign up to the Global Homo Boxing DAZN or go somewhere else. Go off on a deep dive of the internet to find something else. Hans said you stuck a sly £100 on AJ to win within 2 rounds at odds of 4 to 1. Hans, first and foremost, I would not mind being a penny behind you. I like the big stakes, backing it with confidence. Personally, I think it'll maybe go slightly longer than 2 rounds, but you know, if Prenga's as out of his depth as a lot of pundits and commentators and people in boxing seem to think, then you could well be quids in. Prenga lost to a guy with a record of 2 wins and 6 losses over 8 rounds. Yes, he did. He did, Hans. But this is not my view on the fight. Maybe going 3, 4, 5 rounds is not down to how good I think Kristian Prenga necessarily is. Just the approach that Anthony Joshua will potentially adopt after so long since he had a meaningful fight. What happened in his last proper fight against Daniel Dubois. Everything else he's been through outside of the ring. The carrot that's waiting and the end of the stick after this fight is why I think we might see a slightly cautious AJ. But no, it's a good point you make. Prenga he's not Larry Holmes. Not saying that. AJ might just take his time a bit. But you're right, he has lost at a low level. All respect for my Jarko in this post-fight interview. Folks, if you just give me a wee second here, I'm going to just sort one thing here. I think our Jarko stock probably goes up as a result of that. I think Josh Kelly's stock maybe goes slightly down. Not by any huge degree. He won the fight, he's still world champion, but I mean, do we think he's any danger to the big boys at 154 after that? No, not for me. I don't think so. Let me just 2 seconds, guys. I'm gonna nip to the toilet. Should nip to the toilet, folks. Back in a couple minutes. are back. Sorry, folks. We're back. We're back with some supplies. What have we missed? Yeah, just a cheeky oneer, hands. We small bet for you. Almir says Prenga win. We have a first Prenga backer in the chat in the form of Almir. Tell me why, Almir. Why do you think Kristian Prenga can shock the world, can spoil the AJ Fury party, and score what would be the biggest win of his career and probably the biggest win by an Albanian fighter of all time? Why do you think he's going to beat Anthony Joshua? Duty Ruby says, where can I watch live? The only place I can tell you can watch this fight is, of course, on the global home of boxing, DAZN. Get your ultimate pass. They're not even paying me for that, would you believe it? What's the next fight? Alfu asked. The next fight is Hamza Shiraz against the unknown but undefeated German Simon Zackenhuber. Oh, what is that doing now? We don't need that. So we got Hamza Shiraz making the first defense of his WBO super middleweight world title against, to my eye, a pretty weak opponent in Simon Zackenhuber. I'm not expecting him to cause Hamza Shiraz any problems at all, I've got to be honest. He made light work of Alan Begic. I think it's going to be a similar ending. It might go around longer, it might go around earlier, but yeah, I think this is a comfortable first defence, an easy first defence for Hamza Shiraz, who is certainly in the good books with the power brokers over at Saudi, namely Turki Al Sheikh. They've got some big plans for him, talk of a Canelo Alvarez fight. But yeah, this is, I think, going to be an easy night's work for him. Han says, I know why Almir thinks Prenga. It's because he's on the glue. Let's have some parliamentary procedure in the chat. Yeah, I mean, I don't see Kristian Prenga winning the fight if Anthony Joshua's half the fighter he once was. But is he half the fighter he once was? As I said a few times. Fair few question marks for AJ here, but I mean, this would be a low level to be losing at, gotta be honest, in Kristian Prenga. You know, would Kristian Prenga beat a Dave Allen? Nothing on his record of that caliber even. Sharni says, show us the fight. No one wants to just sit here and watch you talk. You know what, Sharni, you know what you can do, right? So if you go up and click the YouTube button, it'll actually take you off this stream. So you don't have to sit and watch me talk. I don't know if you're aware of that, so just see the YouTube button, just click that, takes you off this, and then you won't have to listen to me. No need to thank me. YouTube been around a while, so thought you'd maybe have picked that up, that you can click off. But yeah, just click that and it'll take you right off. Good man. And if you want to watch the fight, DAZN is where we watch the fight. So hopefully we're not sitting around waiting for too long for Hamza Shiraz here. That's one thing that is a real bugbear of mine, is the pacing on some of these shows. We don't need a 45-minute break before Hamza Shiraz. Yeah, I think we're probably going to be looking at least 11:15 for AJ. Hopefully Hamza's in the ring not long after 10 o'clock, although, yeah, not holding my breath. 54 people in the chat. You're all more than welcome. Make sure to leave a like if you haven't already. It really helps push the stream up, get more people in here, get more debate going in the chat. All civilized debate, all of course with the respect. But leave a like if you haven't done so already. I really appreciate it. And get your comments in. AJ Prenga predictions. Does AJ win? How long does it take? Get anything, any thoughts on any topics, boxing or otherwise, and we can talk about them. I mean, God knows, knowing DAZN, it's going to be an hour before this fight's on, so we need something to fill the time. So anything at all you want to talk about, let it in the chat. Han says, sorry bro, he's obviously Albanian, it's just blind loyalty. Well, that's one thing about the Albanians, they back their own, they come out in numbers. I don't know If anyone's ever seen any of the Florian Marcoux fights at York Hall, you would think they were in Tirana. They come out, they support, they're passionate, and if Almir is indeed an Albanian, I love the fact he's backing Kristian Prenga. Really respected, and the fact he's willing to put his feelings out there to the ridicule of people in the chat. Shani says, really? Didn't know that? I'm happy to help, Shani. If you need any advice on how YouTube works or anything else, more than happy to help you out. Gary says, at least make the response funny, Shani. That was dead, lol. Not for me to say. You know what I mean? Shani can come again. He dared to be great. He had a pop. He fell short at the top level. There's no shame in that. He can go away, he can rebuild, and he can come back. He's still got a future in the game. Uncle Yorubi says, where can I watch this? Because I can't find any channel. Jakivska Rupt. Jakivska Rupt, indeed, Uncle Ruby. You can watch it on DAZN as part of the Ultimate Pass, or pay for the pay-per-view. TalkSport are doing commentary for it if you want to listen to it. Other than that, I can't point you in any specific directions, but if you look hard enough and you will it into existence, I'm sure you can find somewhere to watch the fight. Really loving the chat tonight. We've had some doubters, we've had some haters. So I'll just say it again, we've had it a few times. I will not be showing the fight. We're not allowed to show the fight. YouTube will demonetize the channel if we show the fight. They may take the channel down if they show the fight. DAZN would not be happy if we show the fight. My boss would be furious if I was to turn the camera around and show the fight. I will not be showing the fight. If you want to watch the fight, you're not going to find it here. You'd go somewhere else, because I won't be showing it. I appreciate some of you haven't been in the chat that long. I don't mind you asking. If anyone is in here expecting to watch AJ Prenga, it won't be here. Gary says, talking about Kelly boots, but that cut looked bad. He could be gone a while. Yeah, multiple cuts for Josh Kelly, but that one in the nose, you're right, Gary. Really bad. Deep gash. Not sure if there's a break there. It was like a punch into an elbow. Looked a real sore one. But yeah, that'll be Kelly out for, 6 months, you would think. I can't imagine Boots is going to wait that long. He'll probably be looking to get back in the ring before the end of the year, certainly. It's going to be a tough fight for him, Boots. No doubt about that. It was always a tough fight, but based on what we saw tonight, difficult to make a case for Josh Kelly against, arguably one of the best fighters in the world in Jaron Ennis. But who does Boots fight in the interim? That's the question. The Virgil Ortiz fight, given all the water under the bridge there, Virgil and Golden Boy, they seem to have papered over their issues for now. They're back working together, they're back talking, but would he jump straight into a fight with Jaron Ennis, who now has 2 belts, who's now undoubtedly the A side, will command a bigger piece of the pie? That's not going to make negotiations any easier. Eric Just Do It says, what time is the fight? I reckon AJ Prenga, I said 11:15 earlier, that might be a tad optimistic, maybe 11:30. Hopefully we get Hamza Shiraz in the co-main event in the ring here soon. I don't think that fight's going to go too long, but that doesn't necessarily mean we'll see AJ any quicker, because they do like to thrash these broadcasts out. Make sure everyone gets their thoughts and analysis in. Hans says, when God was giving out brains, Shani thought he said trains and asked for a slow one. Very good, Hans. I must nick that one. I should have said that to him. That would have been a good comeback. Better than what I had. So they're interviewing Andy Lee, which is usually a sign we're not far off the ring walks. Eric says, thanks. No problem at all, Eric. A lot of people have asked what time the fight starts. I've told them all, and you're the first man to say thank you, so I appreciate it. Clearly very well brought up. Yeah, just as Andy Lee's being interviewed here, some clear improvements from Hamza in the time they've been working together. I think you can put some of that significantly down to the move up to 168. Middleweight must have been a terrible cut for him, but Andy Lee, I think his impact can't be underestimated as well. That performance against Edgar Berlanga was devastating, and although there hasn't been really a stiff test since, and tonight isn't one either, yeah, really impressed with the work Andy Lee's done with him, with Paddy Donovan, Ben Whittaker improving at a rapid rate under Andy Lee as well. So yeah, top trainer. So what are we expecting from Hamza here? I'm expecting him to make incredibly light work of Simon Zackenhuber. I've got to say, I'm not expecting a competitive fight at all. I'm expecting a quick fight. I'm expecting 2-3 rounds. Hamza Shearer, spiteful, strong at 168, can fight on the inside. From what I have seen of Simon Zackenhuber, I watched one of his fights as it happened against Powell August, who we saw on the card earlier. Who's a limited fighter, and he lost that night. I've watched clips of him before this, and yeah, he's well off it in terms of world level. Not even close, you know. I don't think he'd win a British title, but I don't think he'd get close to a British title. And Hamza Shearer, when he fights fighters of that level, he almost always makes light work of them, and I'm expecting him to do the same to poor old Simon Zackenhuber. Sale Who says, Prenga force, show everyone that our hearts are beating Albania. See, this is what I talk about. The Albanians, they always back their own. They wear their hearts on their sleeve. They don't care about making out their predictions. And I think you gotta love that. I think boxing needs more of that. Sale Who, talking to you directly here. In your heart of hearts, do you believe Kristian Prenga can pull it off? Do you think he can shock the world against Anthony Joshua? Talk to me, my man. Why can your countryman pull it off tonight? I think it's a big ask for him, but I don't think he's got absolutely no chance. But I think he would be reliant on Anthony Joshua being a shadow of the fighter he once was, and I don't think AJ's quite there yet. Han says, when God was giving out looks, Shani thought he said books and asked for a horror. It's another good one. I would imagine Shani has left the chat now. Hopefully he took my advice on how to get out, so we can leave Shani alone. It's all love, it's all respect. Water under the bridge. Right, so we got the tail, the tape. Hamza Shearer listed as 6'3". I think he might be a bit taller than that. Only got a 3-inch reach advantage over the 6-foot Simon Zackenhuber. I don't think any of these numbers matter at all. I think there's a clear skill gap, clear power gap, clear everything gap, and Hamza Shearer should do a job here, I think. He ran. He didn't want to smoke hands. He got out of dodge. It got on top for him, and he got out of dodge. That's what we do. Right, here we go, ring walks. So this fight should be over by, I think, 10:15. This will be over. We might have AJ ring walking at 11, you know, which should be decent. It was advertised as 11, but that doesn't mean too much. Here comes Simon Zackenhuber. Is he walking out to the Chemical Brothers? Big ask for him here. Oh, that's an interesting one, Hans. What do I think of Shiraz versus Anthony Yard? I mean, there's no indication Shiraz is going to move up from super middleweight anytime soon, although I wouldn't be surprised at some point if we saw him at light heavyweight. I think Anthony Yard's best days are behind him. He had 3 tough losses against Sergey Kovalev, Beterbiev, and David Benavidez. Yeah, I think Anthony Yard's holding out for big money. if we do see him again. But if you're asking me a hypothetical and Hamza Shiraz was to move up to light heavyweight and fight Anthony Yarde next, I think he would win that fight inside the distance. As I say, I think Anthony Yarde, great fighter in his day, heart of a lion, athletically gifted, punch power, speed, underrated defense, but yeah, I think Shiraz would make light work of him. Here comes Hamza Shiraz. It's a very old photo of Hamza Shiraz they're using there. Yeah, the arena doesn't look exactly sold out, I think it has to be said. Obviously the AJ Prenga hype maybe not fully translated over to Jeddah. Who do you think Anthony Yarde should fight next, Hans? I'll put one to you. If you were managing Yarde, what direction would you go in? A lot of talk about him and Whittaker at some point. I would like to see that fight. I think I'd probably favour Whittaker at this stage. Crazy we haven't saw him and Joshua Buatsi. That's another one that at one point you probably could have sold out the O2 with that fight, but I don't think you get anywhere near that now. But no, I think Shiraz is the real deal, has to be said. The way he dispatched of Edgar Berlanga was really impressive when you look at the fight that Berlanga put up against Canelo. How he'd been doing up until that point. I think Shiraz is the businessman. I think he could do some real damage against the big boys at super middleweight. Edvin Haxley asked, what link is there to watch the boxing? You're going to have to go on DAZN for that, mate, unfortunately. I'm not allowed to stream the boxing here, so I shan't be doing so. You can find it on DAZN. I take it from the Albania flag, you're back in Kristian Prenga. We've had a lot of Albanians in the chat. Yeah, a lot of Albanians tuning in to see. They hope their man shocked the world. I don't know if anyone outside of Albania thinks he's going to do that, but I admire the support, I admire the patriotism, all the same. So Hamza Shiraz being rapped out to the ring by what I assume is a Saudi Arabian rapper. I'm not sure who that is. It would be great if we could just get him in the ring. Is that too much to ask? Make sure everyone run the likes up in the stream, really helps us out if you're enjoying it, if you're enjoying watching me talk nonsense throughout this card as we move closer towards Anthony Joshua's return against Kristian Prenga. Please be sure to leave a like. Hamza Shiraz looks like he means business here. Prenga whacked to open Fury AJ card for the culture. Yeah. Who you backing in that one, Gary? Han says, yeah, probably Joshua Buatsi, long overdue, and they're both coming off losses. Yeah, I think that fight to me now is a co-main fight, really. I mean, you could maybe do the copper box with it, but much like Fury AJ, albeit on a smaller scale, it's nowhere near the fight it once was. Both fighters look to have had their best days been and gone. I would also say it sounds like we're going to see Callum Smith versus Joshua Buatsi for a vacant WBO title. He's not going to forego that for a fight with Anthony Yarde, no matter how long we've been waiting for it. But Hamza Shiraz is in the ring, the rap's still going on, but we are getting closer. If this guy could finish up his rap for us, that would be good. We all enjoyed it very much, but that's enough rapping. Thank you. Just a word of warning, those links to supposed streams showing the fight, I promise you they will not take you to watch the fight. I would stay well clear of those. I'm not telling you where to watch it. Watch it wherever you want, but those links will not be showing the fight. I can almost guarantee you. Oh, it's 2 seconds, folks. Sorry for any ASMR here. Hungry work. Yeah, Hans, apparently so. That's the word, that Buatsi versus Smith is going to be for the WBO, with Bivol set to vacate. So, I mean, if you're Callum Smith, you're happy about that, I guess. I mean, it won't be the money of a fight with Bivol or Benavidez, but in terms of a route to becoming a 2-weight world champion, you know, a guy who you've already beat, who didn't look good at all against Zach Parker, a fight loads of people thought he lost, he'd be licking his lips at that. Only thing is, long time out of the ring for Callum Smith, you know, with the Morrell fight falling through. Here we go. Simon Zackenhuber. Can you shock the world against Hamza Shiraz? I would be incredibly surprised, I have to say. First fight was brilliant, Hans. First fight was a cracking fight, wasn't it? Smith Buatsi, but don't know. Buatsi looked so bad against Zach Parker. The only thing is Smith, I guess, struggled with injuries a bit, long time out of the ring, but I'd make him a big favourite over Buatsi, I have to say. Lirim Shabani asks, what time is Joshua fight? I reckon, depending on how long this Hamza Shiraz fight goes, Lirim, and I don't think it'll go too long, we could be looking at a start of around 11 o'clock UK time. Not sure what time that is wherever you are in the world, as I don't know where you are in the world, but 11 o'clock UK time, if that's any help to you, I reckon will be roughly when we see Kristian Prenga getting going. Well, we have the matter of Hamza Shiraz, Simon Zackenhuber, who are facing off, being read their instructions. Ignore the spam bots in the chat, folks. They're selling you magic beans. That website will not be streaming the fight, I promise. Right, here we go. Round 1. Battle of the Southpaws here. Zackenhuber coming out very bouncy. Tried a couple of jabs to the body. Gary says, do you get the DAZN app on your wall phone? I don't work for DAZN, I don't represent DAZN, I'm not being paid to promote DAZN, contrary to what it might sound like in this stream, but yeah, you can get it pretty much anywhere, can't you? Shiraz very long and rangy, like a praying mantis in there, isn't he? But patient here to start. Zackenhuber slightly busier, but nothing to be concerned about if you're Hamza Shiraz. Shiraz yet to throw a meaningful shot and just gets caught with a jab off Zackenhuber. Switched off for a second there. Sorry if you can hear me eating, but I'm starving. Zackenhuber tries the left of the body, gets through. Shiraz being very patient, but Zackenhuber doing what he should do, and you know, he's got a fighter not throwing back, try and get your own work off. I said Battle of the Southpaws, Shiraz standing unorthodox. That's the analysis you come for. Not a great deal has happened as we go into the last minute of the first round. A lot of people tipping Hamza Shiraz round 1 KO. They'll be starting to sweat. Did any money down on that? Shiraz tries a right hand with not a great deal on it. Falls short with the uppercut. Now he's trying to go through the gears a bit, letting his hands go, but nothing really landing clean on Zakenhuber. Tries the left hand. Shiraz misses with the right hook. Zakenhuber just ducks under it, catches the top of it in the gloves. Left hook caught in the gloves with Zakenhuber, but did feel the weight of it. 20 seconds left in round 2 and in round 1. Sorry, and Shiraz starting to let his hands go after not really doing much for the first 2 minutes. Tries the left hook off the right hand, didn't really get through clean from Shiraz. I mean, Zakenhuber probably nicked that round, so I guess he's already done better than I thought he would, but more down to Hamza Shiraz not doing a great deal until the last minute or so, more than anything great from Zakenhuber, but he shaped up a bit better than I thought he would, to give him his credit. And even though it's a pay-per-view, we've got an advert. Fantastic. But yeah, patient start from Hamza Shiraz, but I mean, you would imagine when he lands something of consequence on Simon Zakenhuber, the fight will quickly unravel. But who knows? Maybe I'm being, you know, a bit too dismissive of Zakenhuber, but I've just not saw anything from him and what I've seen of him to suggest he can beat with Hamza Shiraz, despite the fact he did just nick that first round. Yeah, not exactly panic stations in the Shiraz corner just yet. Round 2 underway. Zakenhuber tries the right hook, blocked by Shiraz. Shiraz starting to jab over the southpaw jab. Zakenhuber. Yeah, 3 times now he's done it. Tries the 1-2. Zakenhuber having a go here. Oh, good left hook to the body from Shiraz, putting his foot down here. I think he wants this to be over. Zakenhuber comes back with a straight left to the body of his own. Good left hand from Zakenhuber, but gets caught with an uppercut for his troubles. Zakenhuber gets through with a jab. Not much on it. Zakenhuber getting walked down by Shiraz, who's not landed anything of consequence since the left hook to the body. Tries it again, straight, a bit low potentially. Zakenhuber looks untroubled by it, but can't afford to be shipping body shots against Shiraz. Another good left hook to the body from Shiraz. Armando, where can we watch the match, brother? The match is on, the fight is on DAZN, pay-per-view or part of the DAZN Ultimate Pass. Unfortunately, I'm not able to stream it. I can't speak if there's anywhere else you could watch it, but if you want to watch it live and legitimately, that's where. Are you Albanian, Armando? Let me know. Are you backing Kristian Prenga to shock the world tonight? We've got a few in. We've got a few Prenga backers in the chat. Zakenhuber tries the body shots again. Not landed anything that's remotely troubled Shiraz as of yet, who is starting to slowly go through the gears, trying to get his own left hook to the body going. Yes, bro. Yes, another Albanian in the chat. Do you think Prenga can pull it off, Armando? Oh, good left hand from Zakenhuber. Put Shiraz on his heel. Doing better than I thought he would. Hold my hands up. Zakenhuber is making more of a fight of this than I thought he would. Granted, that's not saying much. I didn't have too high an opinion of his chances coming to this one, but he's doing well. He's having a go. Just got through with the right hook and a left hand. Not troubled Shiraz with anything really, has to be said, and Shiraz has landed plenty of clean shots of his own. Armando says, can I see without pay-per-view because I don't have a credit card? I mean, I can't sort that out for you, Armando. But I'm sure if you have a look, you can find a way. Of course, I don't think there's too many people in this chat who agree with you, but don't let that put you off. If you're backing your man to do it, then I'm all for that. I love that. More power to you. I know you Albanians are a passionate people when it comes to your fighters. Saw it firsthand at many shows. .43 concurrent viewers in the chat. Love that, folks. Please leave a like. Leave any comments you've got, any views you've got on the AJ Prenga fight, or indeed any other fight, or indeed any topic in or out of boxing. Talk about it all on here. This is a free-flowing idea zone, back and forth. Gary says, this German, the guy who lost on the Fury card in London. Yeah, that's right. He lost to Powell August, who, don't know if you were watching the prelims, Gary, but fought earlier, was completely outclassed by Jacob Bank. So it is strange that, firstly, Zach and Huber is getting the fight instead of August, who beat him. But Jacob Bank is the best sort of middleweight in this card, apart from Hamza Shiraz, so he really should be in the mix for it. But I guess they wanted a risk-free run-out, which this was tipped as. Although I think Zach and Huber, I think you won the first round. You could make a case for the second round too. I mean, early days, Shiraz not really got out of second or third gear yet, but making more of a fist of it than many people thought he would. Shiraz tries the 2 off the 3, but to no avail. I mean, it looks like the uppercut's there all day. Zach and Huber very squared up. Shiraz just tried the uppercut, partially blocked. Hans tournament. Yeah, he was. I was at the fight. So was I, Hans. I was there working. Maybe we crossed paths in the concourse. I was at the Fury Matmadov show. Bit of a disappointing show overall, you'd have to say. What was the best fight that night? Fraser Clark, Justice Huni, probably the most entertaining one. I mean, Conor Ben, Regis Prograis wasn't really one to write home about. Sorry, neither was the main event. Gypsy King definitely dusting off some cobwebs against Matmadov and against Wack, it looked like to me. Oh, Shiraz gets him with a long left hook. Just caught Zach and Huber at the end of that one. Zach and Huber doing okay here. Oh, good uppercut to the body. Shiraz and a left hook to the body. I don't think Zach and Huber liked either of those. But he's here to have a go, Zach and Huber. Fair play to him. Shiraz got a good guard though, even when shots do sort of get through, the gloves absorb most of the impact. As I say that, a nice quick left hand from Zach and Huber catches Shiraz, puts him back in his heels momentarily. Zach and Huber tries the left of the body, leans in for it though. That's a risky game against long Hamza Shiraz, who has that fight down an uppercut just waiting for him. Didn't throw it that time, but to me looks like it's there. Good right hook from Shiraz. We've got the bots coming in. Ignore them. They will not take you to the fight, I can assure you. They're looking to scam you in some capacity. Yeah, this is the first clear Shiraz round for me, I think. Definitely the case for the second, but I think he's woke up now in this third round as he catches Zach and Huber with the right hand and a stiff jab. Does feel like we're in maybe writing on the wall territory. Not that Zach and Huber's been overly hurt, visibly anyway, by anything that Shiraz is landing, but just some of those body shots, and we saw the effect they had on Alan Begic, and you'd think if Zach and Huber starts shipping, 5, 6 of them around, then things might not go too long. But as I say, he's done better than I thought he would. I didn't think we'd see the fourth round. 1-3 was my prediction. Hans Tournament has never rated Partridge. The best uppercut I've ever seen him land was on himself, so he's referring to Tyson Fury there, if anyone didn't know. And You've never rated him hands. Seems slightly harsh. I mean, whatever version it was of Vladimir Klitschko, obviously it wouldn't have been his absolute best at 39 years old. Still an incredible win on away soil. Wilder, okay, maybe he wasn't the force he was sort of billed as and perceived as, but you know, the first fight, given how long Fury had been out of the ring, at the top level anyway before that one, the job he done in the rematch. I think, did Tyson Fury become overrated at one stage? I think that's a fair comment to make. I think you could definitely make that argument, but at the very least, he was a world-class heavyweight and a legit heavyweight world champion for sure. Yeah, Shiraz trying to build some momentum in the fourth here. Zackenhuber still throwing back, still keeping him honest. Oh, good right hand from Shiraz. Zackenhuber smiles, but that's usually a sign it had an effect. Good long right hook from Zackenhuber. Zackenhuber did a lot better than I thought he would. Countered Shiraz a couple of times, busy. Thrown back when Shiraz has had success. I mean, this fight could be over in a minute, but he's still gone up in my estimations, which were albeit very low. Never rated Klitschko or Wilder either. John McDermott beat him. Yeah, Klitschko certainly was able to take advantage of a weak era, no doubt about that. And yeah, first fight with John McDermott, the consensus is Fury was very fortunate that night, but I mean, what age would he have been then? 21? 22? Would have been very young back then, wouldn't he, Fury? For any success Zackenhuber has had here, and the shots he has landed, Shiraz has clearly not been put off by anything that's come his way. So Zackenhuber's got a decent knockout ratio, but you know, at a very low level compared to this, and maybe he's not landed his best shot on Shiraz, but what he has landed hasn't been enough to put hands off coming forward. And we saw Shiraz hurt in the past, of course. Emma Williams had him buzzed. Bradley Skeet troubled him a couple of times. He's given him all sorts of trouble that night. Tries the uppercut again. Shiraz, Zackenhuber skips nicely out of range. Oh, lovely left uppercut from Shiraz. Zackenhuber tries a 1-2 to the body there. Oh, good left hand from Zackenhuber as he eats a right himself. Oh, lovely combo from Shiraz to finish the round, who definitely picks up the fourth. I mean, on my card, levels the fight. I don't know if the judges will see it that way. We saw Hamza Shiraz on the receiving end of some generous judging. The Carlos Adames fight springs to mind. Very fortunate to get a draw that night. So you'd imagine Simon Zackenhuber is going to have his work cut out trying to get a decision here. Still think it's unlikely we get that far. Do you get the sense Hamza Shiraz just going through the gears here, breaking his man down? Maybe Zackenhuber's come with a bit more ambition and a bit more resilience than even Hamza Shiraz thought, but yeah, growing into the fight, Zackenhuber's offense slowly wilting. Not had the fight beaten out of him by any sense, but he was very busy in round 1 and 2. He's been less busy in round 3 and even less busy in round 4. Still having pockets of success, but certainly the meaningful, more hurtful looking punches coming from Hamza Shiraz. Still got plenty of bounce in his legs, Zackenhuber, as he tries a combo to start off round 5. You mean mostly blocked by Shiraz, but Sully's still got the ambition. Tries a 1-2, just falls short. Shiraz takes his head out of range. Lovely right to the body, left hook upstairs. Great jab from Shiraz, another one. Oh, good combo from Zackenhuber right on the chin of Shiraz, but again, did not seem to trouble Shiraz at all, who continues to walk him forward, putting a lot more weight behind these shots, missing a lot of them, but there's definitely more bad intentions on the shots from Hamza Shiraz now. Really loading up on the left hook. Doubles up with the left hook again, gets through to the body, blocked upstairs. Yeah, Shiraz going through the gears now, gets a good left hook to the body in. Zakhanuber trying to punch through the guard of Shiraz. I mean, shots are getting through here and there, but doesn't look to be enough on them to stop the momentum of Hamza Shiraz. Gary says, wonder if they look at Canelo Shiraz if he beats Billy. I think that's what they're angling towards. That's a fight that Turkey's mentioned in the past. I'm near sure of it. Big if Canelo gets past Billy. I'm not 100% convinced he will. And what will be the biggest fight financially for him if he does get past Billy? I think Turkey Al Sheikh would make sure it's Hamza Shiraz. Could we see that fight at Wembley? Shiraz, if he continues on this trajectory, maybe gets another big win over maybe another champion or another prominent contender like David Pacheco. Could that we see that fight at Wembley? Shiraz Canelo? It would be amazing seeing Canelo in the UK, wouldn't it, before he retires? But I think Shiraz would be a very tough fight for Canelo at this stage of his career, and I think Canelo would need to be well compensated to fight Hamza Shiraz if he does get past Billy, who I think will give him a tough fight as well. Yeah, Zakhanuber's punches really don't have much steam on them now. Ten seconds left in the fifth. Zakhanuber should survive it, but I don't know if he'll survive too much longer. Looks tired, Zakhanuber. Very little on his punches. And Shiraz just seems to be growing stronger. Up in his output, up in the power on the shots. I just hope this fight going longer than I thought doesn't push the AJ start time back, man. I'm getting tired. 11 o'clock ring walks, no bueno. Half 11, even worse. Appreciate you all hopping on for the watch along. Not too far now for AJ Prenga, the return of Anthony Joshua. Incredible he's back in the ring so soon after that tragic accident. Fair play to him. Mentally strong guy. In with, well, if you're being kind, an unknown quantity in Prenga. I mean, lost at a low level, so I guess you could say he's known in that regard. But impressive knockout ratio. Can he land on AJ? Can he shock the world? The Tyson Fury fight would surely be up in smoke if he did. Not too many people giving him a chance. We've had a few Albanians in the chat who, as is typical of the Albanian fight fan, is backing their man to the hilt against Anthony Joshua. Not sure we've had anyone not from Albania who thinks Prenga could pull it off. I'm not of that opinion myself, but you know, we've seen stranger things happen. Minute down in round 5 and 6, sorry, and Zakhanuber still having a go, bless him, but just nothing on these shots, and Shiraz walking him down, hands up, letting him throw. Yet to land anything of consequence himself, Shiraz, in round 6, but you get the feeling the end could come at any time. Yeah, Shiraz tries the uppercut. Struggling to get off a bit here, Shiraz. Zakhanuber not capitalising on it. Yeah, starting to bully him a bit, Shiraz, without really landing anything too clean. As I say that, he lands a left hook to the body, followed by a left hand upstairs. think Zackenhuber felt the right hand to the body there. Tries the left. Oh, another left hand to the body and upstairs. I mean, it's not the best we've seen Hamza Shiraz look here. I don't think that's out of order to say. I think you put a bit of that down to Zackenhuber being a bit better than expected. Shiraz hasn't been particularly economical with his work. He's missed a lot of punches. He's been caught a fair few times. Never hurt, never troubled, of course, but caught more times than I'm sure Andy Lee would have liked, would have maybe envisaged going into this one. No, meaty left hook to the body from Shiraz. Zackenhuber fires back with a two-piece of his own, finishing to the body, but nowhere near the snap and power on it of Shiraz. Yeah, Zackenhuber doesn't look like he's ready to go anywhere. I maybe was writing his obituary a bit early. Get out of here. Didn't think we'd be seeing the second half of this fight, but we are. Credit to Simon Zackenhuber for sure. Yeah, of course, Garcia Ben announced. Big fight. Say what you want about either, and it's a big fight, even from, you know, my point of view. The social numbers are already tracking really high. The two guys who aren't afraid to talk their crap. Shiraz tries the right hand as we get going in round 7 in the first defence of his WBO super middleweight world title against the tougher, more ambitious, and dare I say better than expected Simon Zackenhuber. He's still throwing, not with any huge degree of power, but he's still throwing, he's still trying. Yeah, Carl Frampton makes a good point. Is it the southpaw stance Shiraz is struggling with here? I have to say, he didn't have too much issue with Emma Williams, did he? Good right hand from Shiraz. Good jab from Shiraz, but Zackenhuber undeterred. He's had a lot of success with that right hook, Zackenhuber. I mean, as I say. Sorry, Jack. Sorry, mate. I didn't realise the ASMR was that bad. That is... There's nothing worse than having to listen to someone eat. I did not realise you were picking that up. I can only apologise. That's something that repulses me. I feel ashamed to have subjected you to that. I'm sorry. Oh, makes me cringe thinking about that. I hate listening to people eat. Shiraz falling short again. Zackenhuber's made him miss quite a lot. Oh, good right hand from Zackenhuber. The right hands seem to have a bit more meat on them than the left hands from Zackenhuber. I mean, nothing that he's throwing is particularly powerful or troubled Shiraz, but Shiraz tries the uppercut, well blocked. I mean, Zackenhuber's not come close to winning any rounds since the first couple, but definitely posing a stiffer test than I I think Hamza Shiraz was expecting. I think Shiraz starting to look a bit frustrated. I don't think he envisaged this fight going this long. I mean, there's no danger of Hamza Shiraz gassing here. Certainly doesn't look like that. If anything, Zakinouber looks the most tired, so I don't see any jeopardy of Hamza Shiraz losing this fight or even losing many more rounds, but he'll have been hoping for another statement knockout. He'll be hoping for another performance similar to the ilk of the one in Giza where he won the world title, and it's not really proved to be that. It's been a frustrating night for him so far. Not to say he's looked bad by any stretch of the imagination, but I don't think he's looked as good as he'd perhaps want to. Zakinouber breathing heavy in the corner. Tough shift for him. Tough shift. Gary B asks, who's UK's best chance of a young fighter becoming a star outside of Atama? Right, I'm going to give you my opinion on this. I think it's going to be really tough for any boxer, UK in particular, to become a big pay-per-view star, in the same level as Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. Just due to, I think, the interest in boxing isn't as high as when it was when AJ and Fury were on the come up. You look at AJ, he had been a gold medalist. He was coming through as a star in the back of Froch Groves, I think. So I know Sky are back involved in boxing through Zuffa, but it's not the same as when Sky were working with Eddie. I think that Sky machine is a big factor. Like AJ would say, it was like fighting Dylan White or whatever, and you'd have the Premier League on that day. So half time, say like United were playing Liverpool, so like, watch Anthony Joshua, Dylan White, and your casual sports fans say, I'll watch that. Whereas you don't have anything on the zone that reaches that casual sports fan who only really watches the Premier League. So I think it'll be difficult. Who do I think's got the most star potential outside of Atama? You look at someone like Azim. I think he ticks a few boxes. It is tough to say. I don't know if you view him as a big fighter or a young fighter, but Conor Benn is he's a big star, rightly or wrongly. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think we'll see anyone on the Fury AJ level. Hans, I appreciate you backing my case, but Jack is well within his rights to complain about listening to that, because I would be doing the exact same if I was him. One minute left in round 8. Oh, Shiraz lands, clean left hand. Again, Zakinouber throwing back. Doesn't look like he's ready to go anywhere anytime soon. Oh, get them banned. Don't think there would have been too many people envisioning we'd be able to see round 9 in Hamza Shiraz versus Simon Zakinouber. Anyone who's been on this live will know I was very disparaging of Simon Zakinouber and his chances here. Didn't think he had anything for Hamza Shiraz, and I guess he doesn't in terms of winning the fight, but I didn't think he had enough to last more than 3 or 4 rounds, and yeah, he's well outperformed my expectations. Shiraz lands a meaty combination to the body. Zakinouber fires back with one of his own, but as has been the case throughout the fight, just a lot more snap and power and weight on the shots of Hamza Shiraz. I mean, unfortunately, I think this means we're in for a later start time for Joshua versus Prenga. I think we're probably looking at 20 past 11 at the earliest here, really, aren't we? Say this goes the distance, 20 past half 11 it's going to be, innit? No use that, absolutely no use. Jason Quigley in the corner of Hamza Shiraz. Lovely fella, Jason Quigley, one of the nicest people I've met in boxing, if you care. Right, I'm going to take my mic away for this, Jack. Hopefully you didn't pick up any of that. Zackenhuber doing a good job of catching a lot of Shiraz's shots in the gloves. Even gets his elbows down, very well covers up the body. He's got long arms, covers up a lot of his torso. And yeah, making more of a show of this than we all thought. If we've had anyone new in the chat, if you've not gave your AJ Prenga predictions, please drop them in the comments. Is it an easy night's work for Anthony Joshua? How easy? How long do you think Kristian Prenga will last? And do you think, like a few of the Albanians we've had in here, that Kristian Prenga can somehow shock the world, stop Anthony Joshua, and put AJ Fury in the dustbin, really? Because if AJ loses to Kristian Prenga, then you forget about the Fury fight, don't you? I mean, it's not what it was anyway, but where would we be if AJ fell short tonight? But we don't think so, do we? Do we? Yeah, Zackenhuber definitely felt the body shot there from Shiraz, who you'd imagine will be really keen to get a stoppage here. Even if it is later than he would have hoped, he won't want to be going the distance with Zackenhuber. Still got plenty of time, only halfway through round 9. Still got a bit of bounce to his set, Zackenhuber. I mean, his shots never had much snap on them, but whatever snap there was sort of abandoned him after 4 or 5 rounds. But still throwing, still trying, still keeping Shiraz honest. Goes back down to the body with the right hand, Shiraz. Good left hand from Zackenhuber. Shiraz was as short as 1 to 8 to get the stoppage here tonight. I mean, that could be a real acca buster for people if this keeps going the way it's going. Anyone got any bets on tonight's fight? Any of the fights on the card? Tim Zhu, Errol Spence tomorrow. We had, was it Hans has a grand £1,000 on Errol Spence via stoppage. Braver man than me. My acca was dead a long time ago, if anyone cares. I thought Josh Kelly might be able to stop Kevin and Jarko, but that was nowhere near, really. He had a really tough night with Kevin. Yeah, I think it's starting to look like Zackenhuber could go the distance here. Shiraz looks to be feeling the pace slightly. I mean, probably not as much as Zackenhuber is. But you feel like if he was going to get the stoppage, he would have got it 3 or 4 rounds ago. He's not troubled Zackenhuber properly. I mean, really at any stage of the fight. But Shiraz has landed plenty, don't get me wrong, but Zackenhuber's been good at sort of half riding the shot, partially blocking the shot. Anything that has troubled him has mainly been to the body. Must be very well conditioned, because we saw what a Hamza Shiraz body assault can do. Great body puncher, Shiraz. Defence has been a bit leaky tonight, you'd have to say that from Shiraz. I think that's maybe, if Andy Lee's got any concerns coming away from this one, that would be the biggest. You know, Zackenhuber's landed clean enough every round. You know, not had Shiraz in any trouble, but you know, if Shiraz has caught that much as he steps up the levels, could be a different story altogether. You'd imagine he'd be more switched on against a world-class super middleweight. I think that's fair as well, but even so, you don't want to get into bad habits and getting caught with fighters who you shouldn't be getting caught by, really. But Zackenhuber, he's been crafty. The counter right hooks work well for him. Good straight left hand down the pipe. Yeah, still trying. Zack and Huber still trying. Wee pivots, wee bits of footwork to get inside the Shiraz jab. Yeah, very measured approach from Shiraz this round. Maybe he's happy to see this out. I mean, you would have thought he'd be pushing for a sort of stoppage, make a statement, but it's been a cautious round 10 from him, maybe having a round off. Put a lot into a couple of rounds, trying to force that stoppage. Could be trying to walk Zack and Huber onto something. Shiraz gets through with a 1-2. Didn't land particularly clean. Yeah, much more measured for Shiraz. Just really been nothing but jabs and the odd 1-2 this round. Spirited effort from Zack and Huber, that's probably the way to describe it. Spirited, albeit unthreatening. I mean, not that I had a particular preference on who won this fight. I just wish it was over a bit earlier, so we could see the main event a bit earlier, because it's going to be 11:30 before AJ Prenga starts at this stage, isn't it? Which, you know, I know this card isn't in the UK, but it's certainly aimed at UK fans. Is not good, really. You know, it could be 12 o'clock by the time it's over. You know, you're not going to capture the casual fan with your main event starting at near midnight. But these are the same old things we've complained about for years as boxing fans, and it never changes, and we keep coming back anyway. Andy Lee says Zack and Huber is in survival mode, and I think that's a fair comment. We didn't see a great deal from him offensively in that 10th round. I mean, he'll have had dreams of winning the fight, but I think if you offered him before the fight, you'll go the distance, you won't get dropped, you won't be badly hurt, your stock will probably go up. I think he'd probably, in his heart of hearts, have taken that. I mean, I don't know him personally. Maybe I'm not giving him credit for his ambition, but I would have thought so. I think he'd be happy enough to see this one out. Only 75% of people think Anthony Joshua is going to beat Kristian Prenga. That is surprising. The bookies certainly see it as a more comfortable night's work for AJ than that. I think I do as well. I think Prenga's perhaps maybe not being given as much credit just because where we don't know what version of Anthony Joshua we're going to see, but gotta favour him to beat Kristian Prenga. If he's at 30-40% of what he was, that should be enough. Zack and Huber with his most defensive flurry in a few rounds, gets through with the right hand and a left hook. Again, doesn't trouble Shiraz. He's looking to get his lick back, gets off the right hand of his own. Zack and Huber tries the left hook, a million miles away. Shiraz just steps out of range. Yeah, good stuff from Zack and Huber here. Shiraz catches him with a sort of bolo uppercut. 45 people in the chat. Make sure to leave a like. Give me your thoughts. Give me your predictions on AJ Prenga. Are we finally going to see AJ Tyson Fury? Or will Anthony Joshua fall at the final hurdle against the unknown Albanian Kristian Prenga? God, we hope not. Apologies if you're a Prenga fan, but if this is where we lose AJ Fury, Don't know whether I'd laugh or I'd cry. Oh, good body attack from Zackenhuber there. This is his best round in a while. Had a good round 11 here. Could actually make a case he won it so far. Tries again. Skips out of range as Shiraz looks for the counter. Yeah, not the destructive statement I think a lot of people, myself included, were expecting from Hamza Shiraz. I think he'll perhaps be a bit annoyed with how this fight has played out. I'm not sure it will have done him any harm necessarily. 12 rounds at super middleweight. He keeps his belt, that's the main thing. But it's not been a performance to put the rest of the 168 pounders on notice. I don't think that's unfair to say. Back up to over 50 people in the live. Really appreciate you all hopping on and joining, and if you have been sharing your thoughts and views in the comments, it's great. Love the back and forth we've had. If not, if you're just a lurker, you just want to hop along for the ride, then that's more than fine too. Final round coming up. Hamza Shiraz, Simon Zackenhuber. Did not think we'd be here, but we are here. I thought we'd be gearing up for an AJ Prenga ring walk right about now, but we're going to have to wait a wee bit longer, but that's alright. I just hope we can have a nice quick turnaround between this fight being over and AJ and Prenga getting in the ring. We don't need 30 more minutes of opinion, we don't need 30 more opinions of TikToks, we don't need the promotional video. Just get them in the ring. Here we go. Can Simon Zackenhuber do anything in this final round? He'll be a million miles down on the cards. I think he's won an absolute maximum of 3 rounds. In all likelihood, probably only 1 or 2. Hamza Shiraz has been in cruise control, if not setting the world alight. A couple of times he maybe caught Zackenhuber's attention, but aside from that, never looked like forcing the stoppage. And looks like Zackenhuber's going to come out and have a go for the final round. He's not been able to trouble with Shiraz with anything he has landed, and there's been plenty of success for Zackenhuber, but not seemed to have the power to bother Shiraz. Oh, good left hook from Shiraz. Andy Lee says, come on, beckons him in. He thinks Zackenhuber was hurt by that. I'm not sure he was. Shiraz doesn't really jump on him. Gets back behind the jab. Zackenhuber still got that bounce. Tries the left hand of the body, falls just short. Shiraz seems to be content with going the distance. Halfway through the final round. Nice wee body attack from Zackenhuber, who's probably winning this round. I don't know how much credit Zackenhuber's going to get in the judges' scorecards for his efforts tonight. I think we could be looking at a shutout or close to it, but I think that's perhaps a bit harsh on Zackenhuber. I think he's won a handful of rounds here. Never been in danger of winning the fight, never troubled Shiraz, but outperformed expectations, certainly my expectations. Last 45 seconds. Adam Smith just described it as a moral victory for the German, and I'm not a massive fan of moral victories in boxing, but I think that's probably fair. You know, Hamza Shiraz, I think it was a 1 to 40, 1 to 50 favourite here. He's a bigger favourite than AJ was against Prenga. So that gives you an idea on how people thought this fight was going to go. Hamza Shiraz 1 to 3, just over even money. That was another one that was in my bet slip. So 2 for 2 losers so far. But yeah, I've been somewhat impressed with Zackenhuber. I said before I didn't think he'd win a British title. I think That was probably presumptuous of me and a bit harsh. There we go, final bell. I think it's going to be a wide win for Hamza Shiraz, probably wider in the cards than it actually was in terms of rounds won, but yeah, no danger. Hamza Shiraz comfortably, if unspectacularly, retains his WBO super middleweight world title as we wait for the scorecards. What do we think of that then? What did we think of that? Has anyone's opinion of Hamza Shiraz changed based off what we saw there? I think if you're grading that from Hamza Shiraz based on the expectations, is that a C? Is that a C minus? I think it's somewhere around there. Not that he didn't dominate the fight, of course he did, but no one was expecting this to go the distance. No one expected Zackenhuber to win many, if any, rounds. I'm not saying that Shiraz's stock necessarily drops from it, but let me know what your thoughts are on Hamza Shiraz and where he fits in the super middleweight picture. Obviously he's a world champion, so he fits in pretty prominently, but if Hamza Shiraz was to fight Diego Pacheco, the winner of Canelo, Christian and Billy, Osles Iglesias, Jaime Munguia, how do you rate his chances in those fights? Because I'd have to maybe rethink some of my predictions for some of them, because I was blown away by Shiraz against Berlanga, but maybe I got slightly carried away. Or maybe I'm being too reactionary now. We are not far away, folks. We are not far away from the return of Anthony Joshua. I reckon, yeah, 11:30 we'll probably get going. Here we go, scorecards. These will be wide. Does Zackenhuber think he's won this? $114, a draw. $115, $113. 116.12. And still majority decision. Whoa. I thought I would be sat here talking about how Zackenhuber didn't get enough credit in those cards. He got too much credit there. 6 rounds to Zackenhuber. I mean, 4, I think. I think I probably would have gave him 4 rounds. I mean, he wasn't outlanded by a huge amount. 112 to 98. Majority decision. Yeah, Hamza Shiraz won't be happy with that. I think he's hard done by to come away with a majority decision there, to be honest. I thought he won that fight pretty clearly. But I thought we were going to be hearing like 120, 108, 119, 109. I didn't think we'd be talking about a majority decision here. But yeah, frustrating, awkward. Are those the words you use for that fight for Hamza Shiraz? But he comes away with his world title, that's the main thing. Comes away with things to work on. And yeah, Simon Zackenhuber's stock goes up, so is everyone a winner? I suppose so. Hamza Shiraz puts it down to him switching off against the fighter who's not in his ability. Bit disrespectful to say that when Zackenhuber stood in the ring, but he knows it wasn't a good performance. Tony Hamza, you can tell he's not pleased with that. Hamza Shiraz says no injuries. See what he says about Canelo. I mean, can he really call out Canelo after that? So yeah, I'd like to see either a unification or Diego Pacheco next, and then if he gets through that, we can look at the winner of Canelo and Billy. But I don't know how many of you in the chat watched Hamza Shiraz tonight. Let me know your thoughts on that performance. Definitely made harder work of that than we thought going into it. I mean, you have to put a lot of that down to Simon Zackenhuber, who was better than we thought, but Hamza Shiraz was underwhelming tonight. At no point looked like getting his guy out of there. Looked like he ran out of ideas in terms of getting the stoppage. At one point he put his hands up, just started walking Zackenhuber down. That didn't work. Wasn't able to walk him onto anything big. I mean, Zackenhuber was fairly square on. Southpaw looked like the uppercut should have been there all night. Never really landed that clean. So, yeah, not vintage Hamza Shiraz. Certainly not his best performance. Yeah, he's had 3 fights at 168, and this was definitely really looked the worst. So, interesting. Yeah, Spencer Brown mentions Jacob Bank. That'll be a tough fight for Shiraz based on what we saw from both of them tonight. Bank looked fantastic against Pavel August, who of course beat Simon Zackenhuber, and yeah, Shiraz made a bit of a meal of that Zackenhuber fight, truth be told. Back in a couple of seconds, guys. back. Sorry folks, I got to stretch the legs here. Right, the undercard is finished, and it is now hopefully just minutes before we'll see Anthony Joshua back in the ring. Kristian Prenga, the man, hoping to score what would be a seismic and, let's have it right, catastrophic upset if he was to take Anthony Joshua out here. Let's get those last minute predictions in, folks. We've had plenty of Kristian Prenga backers in the chat, albeit all of them, I think, Albanian. But yeah, I'm predicting Anthony Joshua to get it done inside 5 rounds. 4 or 5 rounds. I think that's when we'll see the stoppage here. I think we'll see a measured start, but a destructive finish. Maybe some nerves. I mean, will there be ring rust? Does the Jake Paul fight get rid of any ring rust? First fight, of course, since the tragic accident in Nigeria that claimed the lives of 2 of his closest friends and team members. I don't think we can understate the impact that might play on the early part of this round for AJ. But ultimately, I think the skill gap between him and Kristian Prenga should be too big, and we should see an AJ KO to set up the biggest fight in British boxing history that we hope takes place in Britain in the form of Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua. Doesn't look like Tyson Fury is going to be there. Spencer Brown was in the ring after the Hamza Sierras fight and reiterated what he's been saying all week, that Tyson won't be attending. I mean, I'd like to see him there. I'd like to see a wee face off in the ring, bit of pushing and shoving, bit of pushing and pulling, but it doesn't look like we're going to get that. But Anthony Joshua needs to do the job regardless. We've got a bit more of Ade, Carl and Tony to listen to before we get to the fight. Say we do say AJ Fury happening next. Say AJ gets through Prenga. Do we think that'll be it for both of them? I mean, you'd imagine there'd be 2 fights, double the money to make, but say we see the same man win twice. Do they both retire? Does the winner go on to try and become a 3-time heavyweight world champion? I think if it's AJ, he probably will. Fury, I think we'll pack it in after the AJ fights. And I do think there'll be 2, regardless of what happens. I think there's just too much money on the table. Yeah, interesting to see how Team Usyk get AJ boxing. I mean, you would think at 36 years of age, they're not going to stylistically change him too much. I hope they don't. I don't think that would be a good idea. I mean, far be it from me to tell them how to do their job. They're arguably the most qualified team in boxing, but surely it's just a matter of getting AJ in the right shape of mind, getting him fit, getting him confident, improving what he's so good at, honing in on that, and it's not going to be some big stylistic revamp. Surely not. Cause that would make me rethink this fight. If AJ, comes in trying to box like Usyk, then Prenga could take him out, but I can't imagine we'll see that. I wouldn't have thought. This isn't the team that, sort of made Usyk what he is. This is a relatively new team. Alexander Usyk's been working with for a couple of years. Obviously, it was Lomachenko's dad guided him through his early pro career. So it's not as if this is the team that, took Alexander Usyk from a novice to the best heavyweight in the world, which seems to be the perception some people have. That's not the case. Value's not expecting any problems for AJ. Here we go. Finally. Thomas Triber's about to do the announcing, thank goodness. Get them in the ring, man. Oh, it's Michael Buffer. They've wheeled Buffer out for this one. Prenga first. Let's see, Prenga. Any sign of nerves? There's bound to be nerves there. Flying the Albania flag, of course. Doesn't look too nervous to me. I mean, hard to tell. His hood's covering up most of his face. He's brought some fans over with him too. The Albanians travelled to all corners of the world to support their fighters. That's one thing you got to respect about them. People talking about how passionate British boxing fans are. Albanians give them a good run for their money. No doubt about that. Prenga going straight over the top rope like Big Show back in the day. I mean, now that the hood comes up, maybe he does look a bit nervous. AJ, here we go. He's back. I'd imagine there'll be someone rapping or singing AJ out. We've got to get through this VT. Welcome everyone to the watch along. We are 2 minutes away from Anthony Joshua versus Kristian Prenga. AJ about to walk to the ring. Prenga is already in there. Get those last minute predictions in there. We're expecting the routines night's work for AJ, or is Prenga about to spoil the biggest party of all? Gotta say, most people in the chat favouring AJ to get it done in good fashion here. We've had a couple of Albanians in who, as always, back their man to the hilt. For me, I think AJ does this in rounds 4 or 5. Don't think it's a complete foregone conclusion, purely down to the question marks over AJ. The punishment he took against Daniel Dubois, we've not seen him in a meaningful fight since then. We've not seen him hit on the chin by a proper heavyweight since then. Where's his punch resistance? And of course, where is he mentally after what he's been through over the past 7 or 8 months? That said, I think Kristian Prenga is the lowest level fighter AJ's fought in probably at least 7 or 8 years, potentially longer. So if Anthony Joshua is 50% of what he was, he should be able to get this guy out of there. I think he'll be cautious early. I think there will be nerves, there will be doubts. How can there not be? But I think once Anthony Joshua realises he's at home in there, he's levels above this guy, I think he should be able to take him out. But we'll see. As the old adage goes, it's heavyweight boxing. Anything can happen. And, you know, this is Kristian Prenga's golden ticket. He'll never get a better opportunity to change his life, change the trajectory of his career than this. Here's AJ. Getting a good look at AJ. Here he comes. AJ walking to the ring now. Does look nervous, AJ. I don't know if that's anything to do with Kristian Prenga per se. Obviously there's a lot of mitigating circumstances around this, but I think he does look nervous here, I have to say. So Tyson Fury hasn't showed up. That's what we can take from this. No Fury. We will not get a face-off in the ring if AJ does indeed get past Kristian Prenga. But let's just see him get past Kristian Prenga. Usyk, of course, is there. From rivals to, what would you say, teammates to his mentor. It is really like a real-life Rocky Apollo Creed. What's going through AJ's mind right now, man? Must be a million different things. The Fury fight, Sinner and Lats, the Dubois fight. Yeah, there's a lot for him. A lot going on mentally here. A lot going on. Nope. We got to get the Saudi national anthem in first. Are they going to do national anthems for the UK and Albania too? I mean, it's not a world title fight, so we don't really need them, do we? I mean, not to sound unpatriotic, but I mean, we'd rather they just got on with it, wouldn't we? Are we about to see one of the biggest heavyweight upsets in recent years? Or are we about to see a destructive return to form, return to the ring from Anthony Joshua to set up the big one? Oh, no. We got Albania and the UK national anthem to get through first. Nearly there. Plenty of Albanians seem to have made the trip over. More Albanians than Brits, you'd have to say, if the broadcast's anything to go off. Big thanks to everyone who's been in the chat, who's been watching from the wings, even if you've just been lurking without letting your thoughts known. I do appreciate you tuning in and joining us for the fight card tonight. Shout out to Hans and Gary, two of the big commenters. Even everyone who's just been in because they thought we were broadcasting the fight. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. What are we about to see here? Is Anthony Joshua going to go through Kristian Prenga, or I don't know. I don't know. You know, when you just get that feeling that, I'm not saying I feel like Prenga's going to win here, but just that we're about to see something we weren't expecting. Are we going to see AJ buzzed, dropped? Just got that feel to it. Just got that feel to it. National anthem's over. There are some Brits who've made the trip over, but yeah, more Albanians to my eye. Is this all going to go to plan? Do things ever go all to plan? One thing I think we'll see a relatively tentative start from AJ. I think that's... I'm not expecting him to blow him out in a round. Maybe 2 rounds, but I think he'll take the first round to have a look, to just feel what it's like to be in there with... No disrespect to Jake Paul, I'm sure he's not watching this. A real fighter and a fully fledged heavyweight. You know, Prenga's a big fella, if nothing else. So I think we'll see a round or 2 of maybe not a whole lot from AJ. As I was saying earlier, if you're Prenga, you've got to throw caution to the wind, don't you really? Try and not let AJ get comfortable. Try and not let him dust off the cobwebs. You would think that's his best chance of a positive outcome here. I mean, if it turns into a boxing match, obviously AJ's got him dominated in terms of pedigree. Bit nervous, you know. Big fight for British boxing. Not because of this fight, but of the implications. I mean, if we were to lose AJ Fury, that would be really bad for the sport. I know the fight's not what it once was, and people have become a bit sick of talking about it, and sick of the false dawns, and I know they're not what they were, but by the time fight week rolls around, there will be a big buzz for it. It would be a big shot in the arm for British boxing, and if we were to lose out on it, no disrespect to Kristian Prenga, but at the hands of Kristian Prenga, then yeah. I mean, Prenga doesn't look like he's froze here. He's not snarling around the ring like Deontay Wilder in his prime, don't get me wrong, but he doesn't look completely overawed by the occasion. Whether that'll count for anything remains to be seen. AJ's shaking the arms. Sir Lappin has a quiet word with him. Got to be 1,000,001 things going through that man's mind right now. Here we go. Final face-off. AJ Prenga. The fight before the fight. Let's go. I'm excited. What can Kristian Prenga do to unsettle AJ? Can he do anything to unsettle AJ? How quickly will AJ get into his groove? Is Prenga going to test the chin of AJ? Let's see. Here we go. AJ looks to get the jab going early. Prenga crouches down, making himself a small target. AJ measuring with a jab, gets through with a jab. Goes low with a jab. This is a wise start from AJ. Prenga tries a looping right. Oh! Prenga drops AJ! Heavy with an uppercut! Oh my goodness! Anthony Joshua down heavily with an uppercut from Kristian Prenga inside 20 seconds. He looks glazy-eyed. It could all be about to go badly wrong. Is Kristian Prenga going to jump on him? He's got to jump on him. Goodness gracious me. He tries the uppercut again. Anthony Joshua holds on. Goodness me. What a start for Kristian Prenga. Anthony Joshua tries the left hook. His legs do not look fully under him. Prenga's slow-footed himself. Oh my. Oh my goodness. Anthony Joshua holding on. Kristian Prenga still 1:50 left in the round. Big right hand. AJ's hurt. AJ hurt again. He's holding on. Anthony Joshua, all let's see here. Anthony Joshua badly hurt. Kristian Prenga's going to jump on him. The Fury fight could all be unraveling. AJ, all let's see. Will he recover? Goodness me. This is incredible. This is absolutely incredible. Kristian Prenga on the brink of stopping Anthony Joshua, of putting an AJ Fury fight in the bin once and for all. Prenga tries with a left hook. Prenga gets through with a right. Anthony Joshua bundled over to the ground. 1 minute left in the round. AJ's legs do not look good at all. Anthony Joshua is in all sorts of trouble. Left hook lands on the top of the head. Oh my goodness. Big right hand from Prenga. Eddie Hearn's face is a picture at ringside. Prenga measures. Right hand, AJ bundled over again. He's counted again. Anthony Joshua down again. Will he survive? This is all going catastrophically wrong. He doesn't look there at all. Kristian Prenga, 25 seconds left in round one. Left hook, cuff, uppercut lands. AJ circles away. Oh my, Anthony Joshua holding on for dear life here. This is incredible. 10 seconds left. AJ looks to the crowd. He gestures he's alright. He's not alright. This is not going to plan in the slightest. Prenga tags AJ again. They're trading up. Oh my goodness. Anthony Joshua hurt badly. Down twice. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. This is a crisis for Anthony Joshua. This is a crisis. He was incredibly lucky to survive that. It was a short uppercut though. There was not much on that punch at all. Where is Anthony Joshua's punch resistance? What has he got left? Can he turn this fight around? We saw in the past when he gets hurt, he stays hurt. Kristian Prenga is by no means anything special, but he is causing Anthony Joshua nightmares in there. Anthony Joshua down twice. Oh my goodness, folks. Well, who saw this coming? Who saw this coming? Wow. What is round two going to have in store for us? Here we go, round two. Hold on to your hats. Oh my goodness. Prenga lands with a left hook. AJ hurt again. AJ trying to measure with a jab. Tries with a 1-2. Blocked by Prenga. Goodness gracious me. Prenga's crude. Don't get me wrong, he's nothing special. Here we go. What is happening now? Not much lands in the minute of the round two. I can't even get my words out. Good shot from AJ. Right hand gets through. Good right hand from AJ. Prenga hurt now. Prenga backs up. Circles away. Is AJ turning the tide here? Prenga looks hurt, looks troubled. Much better round two for AJ. AJ looks to the crowd. He doesn't look there. Oh, right hand from Prenga. But he finds himself back in the ropes. Tries the right hand. Lands on the gloves of Prenga. AJ does look to have recovered from that catastrophic first round. Prenga tries the right hand. No luck. Uppercut lands for Prenga. AJ gets through with a left hook on the inside. Prenga tries the left hook upstairs. I think Prenga's tasted the power of Anthony Joshua and he doesn't like it. But he knows he can hurt Anthony Joshua. Oh, good right hand from AJ. Prenga hurt, Prenga down, Prenga out cold. Referee's going to give him the count. This is it. Prenga's not going to beat the count, it's over. It's over. Anthony Joshua survives an almighty scare to stop Kristian Prenga in round number 2. Heart in mouth fight. Goodness me. What did we think of that then? What did we think of that? AJ gets the stoppage, but what a scare. Wow. Wow. AJ gets the stoppage, but dearie, dearie me, that nearly went badly wrong, didn't it? What did we think of that then? What did we think of that? Prenga's punches did not look to have much on them, and they had AJ in all kinds of trouble. Hans, you're absolutely right. You got it. Rounds 1 or 2. Never in doubt. Never in doubt. That was nearly an absolute disaster for everyone in Team Anthony Joshua, Team Tyson Fury, British boxing as a whole. I mean, what do we think of Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua now? Let's see what Anthony Joshua has to say after that, but that did not go to plan. Junjalabat, the fight is over. Anthony Joshua stopped Kristian Prenga in round number 2, but he was on the brink of being stopped himself in round number 1. Down twice. Wow. We will hear the words of Anthony Joshua and Eddie Hearn after that, and then we'll wrap up the live, folks. But the Tyson Fury fight nearly up in flames. Hans says, I gotta admit, bro, you look like you were touching cloth during that first round, as was I. Oh, I was in shock. No two ways about it, I was in shock. I mean, we all love to see an upset, but this is probably the one instance I wouldn't want to see it. It wouldn't be good for anyone working in boxing for the AJ Fury fight to fall apart. I mean, I think Tyson Fury and Anthony's performances this weekend haven't done anything to make people more excited about that fight. Yeah, touching cloth, you're probably right. I think you were touching cloth for financial reasons, Hans, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, AJ 1-2, couldn't miss him, man. Prenga really not good. Really not a good fighter. Warning bells. Who has more left, do we think? Tyson Fury or Anthony Joshua at this stage? I don't know. I don't know. It's a bit of a race to the bottom, isn't it? Neither's got much. I think Fury probably takes a better shot than AJ at this stage. AJ the bigger puncher. Thing is, you would say AJ probably needs some rounds, but you don't risk him with anyone now. Maybe Marius Vac. Get him in with Marius Vac maybe for some rounds. But my goodness. Gets out of jail, Adam Smith says, and that is the nail on the head. Alright, Hans. There may or may not be a watch along for Spence. But if not, appreciate you hopping on tonight. Enjoyed your input, your insights, your betting tips and analysis as always. Maybe catch you later. If not, we'll catch you in the next one. Appreciate you, Hans. I said I didn't think it'd be a foregone conclusion. I did say. Be interesting to see what AJ says here, then we'll wrap it up. I mean, could Kristian Prenga not have jumped on him in that first round? Right, folks, gonna wrap it up there. Late in the night. Really appreciate anyone who's been on the live tonight. Been a good one. Hope you enjoyed the card, and I mean, enjoyed that main event. I don't know if I enjoyed it, but it was full of drama. It was very nearly an absolute disaster if you want to see Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua. But that'll do us. God bless you all. Catch you in the next one.